What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Terror Table for episode 128. We are that horror movie podcast you come to listen to about horror movies and horror books and horror TV shows and all that kind of stuff. We also tend to bend the genre a little bit, so that's something that I'm probably going to be doing a little bit today. Stuff that we'll talk about that kind of fringes on the horror side of things, but isn't necessarily straight up horror. But either way, I am one of your regular hosts here every single week. My name is Mitch, and alongside me, as always,
Boozy.
And today we are very excited to welcome a special guest and our new brother, I guess network brother.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You'll be expecting a Christmas card.
Exactly. So we'd like to welcome Shawn Broom of the Story of You podcast to the Terror Table. Welcome,
Hello,
Shawn.
Everyone. Hello. I also have a podcast called the Official Goatse Podcast, so let's get that out of the way right now. So
I like you 10 times more now.
Awesome.
I promised myself I wouldn't talk about that show when I come on other shows, and then I immediately talk about it because it fills me with so much joy. So.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah, so like we said, both of our podcasts are presented by the Saskatchewan Podcast Network, who is currently sponsored by Connexus Credit Union, so you can check out the website, that's just saskpodcastnetwork.com, or you can check them out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and you can find the Terror Table there, you can find the Story of You, and you can find a whole bunch of other locally made podcasts over there. So going on from that, I'm just going to give a quick reminder for next week. We will be doing another double feature like we did last week, but me and Boozy will be talking about arachnophobia and ticks. So that's going to be
some classic 90s gems.
Our creepy crawly episode. Other than that, also, like, we know Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark comes out on August 8th, so you can definitely expect a spoiler-free review from either myself or both Boozy and I. I'm not sure if you're planning on going to it, but if you make it out, we'll be talking about that. So with all that out of the way, I guess we can get on with the show. I think we're going to start off by just getting a brief rundown of who Shawn is and what horror is with Shawn. So first off, are you a horror fan?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
okay.
Horror's great. It's just looking in your office here or in the studio here and seeing all the pictures on the walls. Like, yeah, I've seen pretty much all of these movies, and they're all pretty fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As soon as you walked in the house, you're like, yeah, this looks like a house that the Terror Table would be hosted at.
Absolutely, yeah. Full of trinkets and doodads and all kinds of horror stuff. So.
Yeah, we're pretty big dorks, but that's what we like. So, speaking of the Story of You, what's the Story of You?
So, the Story of You... Oh, wait, are you asking me or are you asking about the podcast?
First, let's talk about the podcast, and then I'm going to ask about the story of your history of horror.
Sure. Sounds good.
Play on words there.
Nice. So the Story of You is a weekly podcast, also available on the Sask Podcast Network. And basically what it is each week we have a guest on, and then over the course of the episode, they share their life story. So a couple weeks ago, we had host Boozy on the show here, and it was a delight Skyping with you and learning all about your history. And we'll be releasing episode 145, 146, whenever this comes out.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
so
congratulations on that many episodes.
Thanks, man, and congrats to you guys as well. I mean, we're both over 100 here, so yeah.
It's about, I guess it's like the 3-year mark for you, or how long have you been doing
September 11th will be our 3-year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So
weird time.
Never forget, guys. Never forget. Yeah. So it's been going really good for the last 3 years, and I'm hoping to just keep growing it and doing it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Way to take the thunder from them. So
of course,
making everything about you.
Okay, so how did you get started? What was where did the idea come from to do it? How did you get into doing podcasting?
For sure. So I've enjoyed podcasts for years and years. I'm sure you guys were big fans before you started this. So I'm a massage therapist by trade. So all day long I talk to people, I get to know people, and I realize that's like the part of the job I really enjoy.
That's
and
awesome,
helping people and all that shit's great. But whatever. But can we cuss on this show? Is that cool?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, great. So all that other shit's great. But what I really liked was getting to know the clients, talking to the clients, all that kind of stuff. And I realized that that's just like what I like in general out of life. And so I went looking for like a podcast that would kind of scratch that itch for me. And there was nothing really out there that I could find that was about like regular everyday people. There's tons of podcasts out there where celebrities come on and they talk about themselves and all that kind of stuff. And that's all well and good. But I want to know about, you and me. I want to know about
the everyman.
Yeah. And it's I find that way more interesting than a celebrity story. I can relate more to the average Joe. So And so it was. I figured, well, you know what? Nobody else is doing it. I'll do it then. So I started the show, and we've been going strong ever since. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the format of your show, and I listened to that Boozy episode. That was awesome. Learned a lot about him, and I've known him for a while, so it's nice to know I can
like dark secrets.
That's the funny thing. When I first started the show, it was a lot of friends that would come on and all that kind of stuff before we built an audience and people would request to come on. But yes, and it was so funny just getting to know my friends in a deeper way than I probably would have ever got to know them. Right?
Exactly,
so,
and now it's recorded, so
and they can never take it back.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Have you? Because I don't think it's as old. I think you actually probably would have started before this. But have you heard of Beautiful Anonymous?
I've heard of the show.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about it, and I don't know when they started. But probably around the same time.
Because it has similarities to your show, and I would recommend checking that out.
For sure, because it's like people write in, or
it's just a random person. It's Chris Gethard, who's the comedian, and he'll just. He just accepts random calls from people, and
that's right.
They just call and they'll just talk for an hour, and I don't know, man. I've heard some of the best conversations out of just normal people just sharing their shit. So
nice, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, so
well, and Chris Gethard's just
he's hilarious.
He's amazing.
I love him
for sure.
So what podcast did you start listening to that made you get into it? Because I feel like all of us had like those first couple ones where we were listening to and we're like, hey, I kind of want to do something like that too.
Right. I mostly just listen to like comedy stuff. I'm a huge fan of like most things Earwolf.
Yeah.
Like Comedy Bang Bang, Never Not Funny, all that kind of stuff. And so that's really what got me into enjoying podcasting. And I'd get on another show for a while and then fall off it, but those two were the ones that I always came back to. And now I don't have time for any podcast, so I don't listen to anything anymore. So
it's tough.
Yeah.
Stuff to fit stuff in.
For sure, yeah.
So how about horror? Like, so we know nothing about you.
Right, of course.
Where did it start? Like, so now you can, because on the episode you talked to Boozy about horror a little bit, and then I was like, oh, this guy actually sounds like it's not just like a passing interest. You've delved into this stuff pretty deeply. So
well, maybe not too deep. Definitely not as deep as you two, but I do enjoy it. I think I was 7 or 8 when I saw Night of the Living Dead for the first time.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And that movie was blew my mind when I was a kid. Just the fact I'd seen it. I'd watched a ton of movies when I was a kid, but somebody always made it out, right? No matter what kind of genre it was, everybody, everything was fine.
You always got your happy
survived.
ending of some sort.
Yeah. And then that movie ends, spoiler alert for like a 70-year-old movie, the last remaining character gets just totally shot in the head by some well-meaning sheriff.
Yeah.
And some fun political commentary with a white sheriff shooting a black guy, but whatever. But that movie just blew me away, and I couldn't believe it. And so since then I've just been like, oh, okay, I like this kind of horror genre. This stuff that makes me feel weird and creepy and just makes my skin crawl. It's a lot of fun. So from there it just grew. And
so do you off the top of your head, do you have 3 that you can name off? They're just this is my jam. I know that's a loaded question.
This might be sacrilege, but I really love the Evil Dead remake.
Oh, it's great.
That was great.
It's amazing.
Movie,
it's unbelievable. It's got one of the greatest climax shots in a movie.
No, that movie's awesome.
And I love how they took. There's still some of the comedy and still some of the silliness from the Sam Raimi ones, but they just go, we're just gonna smash people's hands apart and just be super horrific and it's hardcore. It's really great. I also really enjoy what else is good? Would you count Alien as a horror movie?
Of course.
Okay, Alien then, big huge Alien fan.
Yeah.
That's when I watch probably at least every year or two I come back to it. It's the perfect movie. It's so good from start to finish. And say whatever you want about the rest of them, but Alien 1 is fantastic.
And Aliens.
Alien's a different beast though. I wouldn't even. It's a completely different movie. Yeah. And then this is. I'm really straying into sci-fi here, but Event Horizon.
Yes,
that was a movie that I saw when I was really young, and was just wow, this is gonna fuck me up forever, and it did. It really scarred me for a long time.
It's the Space Shining.
Yeah, exactly. And now I can come back to it and go oh, this movie is awesome, and Sam Neill is awesome, and I was a huge Jurassic Park fan when I was a kid. I guess maybe that would put that on the list too, Jurassic Park. But to see another movie with Sam Neill when I was a kid was oh, well, this is my favorite guy, Dr. Alan Grant. So, now he's skinless and murdering people.
He never gets his due. As he's put out some really good stuff.
For real, Madness.
Yeah, Hunt for the Wilder People. He's a bit of a different genre, but he's fantastic.
Yeah,
so,
So basically you're Boozy.
Pretty much, I guess. Yeah.
I think that sounds right. All the ones. So that's good to know. So, and one, just to keep it going, and then we'll get into our normal shtick and everything. But on the podcast, you mentioned Jaws.
Yeah,
I
of
remember.
course.
So Jaws is one of my favorite movies of all
course.
time. So maybe
Another movie that's perfect.
Yeah, it's like I'd say I'm notorious for being like, this is my favorite movie.
No,
of all time,
2 weeks in a row that you said it's your favorite.
Jaws is my favorite movie, but like. Yeah, no, so that kind of brings me to, we're talking about Lake Placid today.
Hell yeah.
And you just got back from a camping trip. You're a fellow Canadian. Has that like those types of movies, like animal attack movies, have those ever just been your thing? Like,
I mean, how old were you when you watched like Jaws for the first time?
Oh, I was pretty young when I saw Jaws.
Because I think I remember us talking about it. It's like, it kind of fucked both of us up the first time we watched it.
Well, it's one of those things where like, you hear about this movie, right? And like it builds it up. Oh, yeah, okay. So real quick, talking about hearing about movies and never seeing them. Child's Play was a movie that terrified me, and I've never seen it.
Really?
Just the idea of it scared me so much as a kid that I couldn't handle it. I was at the babysitter's, and someone wanted to put it on, and I just like screamed and was like, please, don't! This will ruin me! But anyway, Jaws, saw that when I was really young, and yeah, it just like, there was something about it. As a kid, you appreciate the shark. You appreciate the gore, the monster stuff, all that is great. But as an adult, you're like, oh shit, like Chief Brody's an alcoholic, and like there's all this weird subtext to it, and like the mayor's this creepy weirdo, and like all this like, as an adult, you get so much more out of Jaws than you do as a kid, and like the more I watch it, the more I discover.
It's like I always talk about that and like The Big Lebowski and Pulp Fiction as movies where every time I watch them, they just get better. They're those movies that just don't, like, you find something new every time.
For sure, absolutely, yeah. They're so layered and nuanced, yeah.
And it is like the more mature you get, and the more experiences you have, the better those movies are, because like they're either they're funnier or they're scarier or they're just more brilliant.
Yeah, I can tie this in actually quite a bit to Lake Placid when we actually get to talking about it. But when you're a kid watching that movie, a lot of the jokes and a lot of the conversations don't stick the same. Where I'm watching it now,
it's completely different.
There's like a lot of that dialogue I was actually laughing at, and a lot of the stuff I'm like, there was some real sexual tension in a lot of, they said some really fucked up shit.
We have a lot to talk about with Lake Placid, but the first time I saw Lake Placid, I was like, it is a 100% horror movie, nothing funny about it.
Yeah.
It's completely changed.
I feel like I didn't get it the first 5 times I watched it when I was younger.
It's weird to walk away from a movie and go, Brendan Gleeson's really funny.
I know.
Who would have expected that Brendan Gleeson is just a comedy all-star?
Yeah, no, okay, so we will get to that. But I guess, do you want to get on to what we've been seeing and what we've been up to? Shawn, would you like to go first? Have you seen any horror stuff recently?
Christ.
And you've never been on the show, so you can talk about anything that stood out to you in the last year.
Oh, well, it's funny. So I've been showing my fiance a lot of movies just because she didn't really she wasn't really into pop culture. She didn't really get into a lot of the stuff that I was into. So I've been like slowly showing her things over the past couple of years.
You're like the Blob. You're like assimilating her to like what I like.
Yeah. So she's totally in her element in the other room, surrounded by nerd posters.
She is so comfortable out there for sure. So, but it's funny. I see on the wall you have a Society poster, and I showed her Society a couple months ago because I just remembered it and was like, oh, that's this fucking crazy movie. I'm going to show her this. And the whole movie, I hadn't seen Society in probably 10, 15 years, something like that. And so I forgot about how, like how there's big chunks of it where you go like, I think like parents are fucking their kids in this movie. Like there's all this weird like incest stuff that's happening. But then by the end, you find out what's going on. I don't want to spoil it for the listeners, but so showing her that and having her be like, at one point turning over to me and being like, what are we watching? Like, what is this going to be? And I would just trust me. Like, it's going to go so weird from here. And by the end, she just kind of was like, well, that was, okay. Don't show me that again.
Yeah.
That's like, so weird. Like, how recently this happened for you?
Oh, probably like within the last 6 months, probably.
That is so fucking weird because we went to see it at Broadway. It played here.
Oh, awesome.
And I took my girlfriend because she likes going to see horror movies because same thing. She was never really into that sort of stuff, and she's been going with me.
Nice.
And I also hadn't seen Society, but like I was like, I love body gore, so like I'm really gonna enjoy this. So at the end, when things are really going insane, I'm like super happy. And after you get out of the movie, like you could tell, she kind of her face, she was like, get out of the movie. She's like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, she couldn't get a smoke in her mouth quick enough. She was just like, Jesus. Yeah,
hands were shaking.
Oh man, that's crazy. That if you're trying to show her like weird stuff that you're into. Society is a big swing.
That's there's no baby step in there.
Like we usually around Halloween we have a folder of horror movies that we dip into, just weird, like not weird stuff, but just stuff I haven't seen, more obscure stuff. Like this isn't really that obscure, but we watched Hush last Halloween. That was just loved Hush. Like it was fantastic.
Really good movie.
Yeah, and so like Event Horizon's in that folder. She'll see that eventually, but she survived Society. She can handle Event Horizon. That's
the good thing is if you've shown her Society, there's not much more weird or shit. Like there is weird stuff weirder stuff you could show her, but you're never going to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Have you showed her The Thing?
We watched The Thing. That two Halloweens ago we watched The Thing. So that was a great one. And just real quick, can we just take a moment to appreciate the mayor from Society and just like how great the mayor is in that movie?
The mayor's great in every movie. Yes, like whenever there's that evil mayor, it's just like he's always a like character that you just wanna root for him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Stranger Things season 3.
Exactly.
Gary Elwes. Yeah, for sure.
They're always pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And Jaws. Yeah. Everything. Fuck. Mm-hmm. Cool. Have you seen like any theatrical movies this year or anything?
Oh well, Jesus! Why am I sleeping on this, guys? I went to go see Hobbs and Shaw last Thursday, and my dick is still rock hard.
Oh yes,
it is fucking awesome. Oh my god!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my god!
I'll be on your level here.
Thank you.
I like those movies are fucking hilarious to me. But Boozy, like
I was waiting for the joke, and he just kept going.
No.
So I'm curious. Like I actually wasn't sure if I was gonna go see it. Like I see all the Fast and Furious movies because like they're fucking hilarious.
They're amazing.
Yeah, but this one looked like next level.
I really feel like you say you're on my side, but I genuinely love those movies.
Okay.
You're watching them to laugh. I'm watching them because I just go like, I just love this world that Vin Diesel has created and just what he's done for this dumb movie franchise and just the legs that franchise has.
It's very true.
It's amazing. And this new one is, they do a haka in it and they translate the haka so you can understand what The Rock is yelling at people. It's amazing, guys. It's so great. It's just big, beefy dudes beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
you
sold me. You sold me.
You should definitely go see it.
How was Roman Reigns? Acting legend?
Roman Reigns is so good they don't give him any lines.
Perfect.
But
just the way I like him.
He does go ooh at one point, and he does do a Samoan drop and a spear. So that's pretty cool.
You're like 2 seconds off from telling me that you have like a huge rest in peace Paul Walker back tattoo. That's like, I feel what's coming next.
I mean, rest in peace Paul Walker. We miss you every day, so...
Oh man,
the franchise suffered when you left. Not too much. They managed to right the ship, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They just had to like up their dick game. They just started like throwing cars out of planes and shit.
Get Statham in here.
Oh man.
Oh, he's so good. Anyway,
that's awesome. Okay, so other than Hobbs and Shaw, horror movies.
I know you saw Godzilla because when we had our conversation, you were going to see that after. How was Godzilla for you?
Godzilla was like 20 minutes of a good movie and an hour and 40 minutes of dog shit. Yeah. So I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know why it's so hard to make a giant monster movie. Just give us giant monsters.
Did you see Kong?
Yeah,
I loved Kong.
I liked Kong quite a bit. Yeah, because it was more. Here's monsters.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. They knew what they were. They knew it.
Guys,
it was just supposed to be funny.
Obviously, we topped out at 1998's Godzilla.
Truly.
Matthew Broderick.
Truly.
I don't know. Yeah, that
size does matter.
Yeah,
goddamn right. Yeah,
that's the slogan.
Yeah, that movie was. I remember seeing that movie in theaters and driving home with my dad afterwards. I was like, probably
just being stoked
and like just talking about what the future of Godzilla will be, and like there was the egg, and now there's going to be more.
Yeah,
and
it's completely dead in the water.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there like an unfinished script somewhere that I can read of that? Because they left so much good stuff there.
Well, yeah, it's the one where Godzilla plays basketball against Charles Barkley.
That sounds great.
Series, and he crosses on him.
No,
also,
awesome.
Shin Godzilla was also really good. I saw that a couple years ago when it was in theaters, and loved Shin Godzilla.
That's such a weird one because I talked to like Godzilla purists who don't like that movie, but they like the Gareth Edwards one, and that makes no sense to me.
That movie is, you want to talk about a disappointment, that movie is a disappointment.
Exactly. King of Monsters was at least better than that.
Yeah, for sure.
But not by a whole bunch.
I think since day one we've always said the Gareth Edwards one is the best trailer we've ever seen for an awful movie.
Yeah, for sure.
It really is. Like, that Halo drop was like the best trailer. I was like, oh my god, I was so excited. And that what's his name? Jesus, I can't believe Bryan Cranston, fresh off of Breaking Bad. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. And then
Yeah, I mean, like, name a bad movie with a Halo drop in it, though. There's not too many.
It takes
they're
skill
all
to
good.
fuck
You got to have a certain amount of balls.
Even Transformers: Dark Side of the Moon had a dope Halo drop sequence in it. So
See, those are movies that I love for all of the wrong reasons.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm with you on those. Yeah, those are movies. I have a good friend of mine, Jamie. We had an agreement that anytime a movie comes out with a giant monster or a giant robot, we'd go see it in theaters. And the Transformers movies finally broke us. We're after, like, Night of the Fallen or whatever the last one was.
I still haven't seen that one, actually.
Like, I'm not going to go see any more of these fucking movies.
No.
I just can't. I don't give a shit about Bumblebee. I just can't do... I can't sit for 3 hours and sit through this.
I've heard Bumblebee's really good.
That's what I've heard. So, John Cena's in it, so it's going to be good.
It's got to be perfect. The Marine. Yeah.
Oh, John Cena's in Fast and the Furious 9. We brought it full circle. All right.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Well, do you guys want to get on...
Whoa. Sorry, I just one more question. Because we still haven't technically covered if you've seen any horror movies recently. Have you watched because we always talk about, have you watched Hereditary? Have you seen Midsommar?
No. Like, here's the thing. I love to sleep on horror movies. I rarely go to the theater for a horror movie experience.
Okay.
I wait till it's out and then I see it eventually, type of thing. I hate the theater. It's hell for me. And so I only go there for like a few movies. Like Hobbs and Shaw will probably be the last movie I see in theaters this year, and then I'll wait and see what comes out next year. Right? So, no, I haven't really seen any of the new stuff. I want to see Hereditary. I want to see Midsommar. I want to see what was the other one that? No, I can't get it. But there's a whole bunch of great stuff that's come out that I go like, yep, I should see this. Anything A24 does is like fantastic. So. That's always on my radar, but I just haven't had the chance. So
I'm envious of you in a lot of ways because I fucking hate the theater as well. Like I hate it, but I need to go.
Yeah, I'm envious that you somehow avoid spoilers. Like,
oh fuck no, I know what happens in most of those. I've read Hereditary and all that. I know about that, but Midsommar I haven't spoiled yet, so I might see that one.
Good stuff.
Okay,
good stuff. Well, do you want to go? Have you watched anything in the last 2 days?
Yes, I have. First one, once again, I don't know if you checked out Criminally Listed. You asked me about that.
Yeah, I asked. We're planning on watching it. But
okay. Yesterday, instead of watching Criminally Listed, I watched 5.5 hours straight of Forensic Files.
Yep.
Because that's like a gold mine. It's all on Netflix, and there's at least there's got to be 300 episodes.
Yep. And the theme never gets old.
Nope. It's great. So I watched that. The one thing I did watch that is a little more up our alley is I purchased Missing 411. It's the second Missing 411 movie. It's called The Hunted, and it's talking about missing hunters who went missing in certain areas. If you know anything about Missing 411 and what David Pilates has done, there's 1,200 missing people's cases that all take part in all these different national parks, and there's all these things there's connections to aliens. I think you would find the second really interesting. One of the very last cases they study, because they usually do 5 or 6. One of them involves people having recordings of Sasquatches from deep in the woods.
Fuck yeah.
And they play the recording, and it's terrifying. And then they have all these linguistics experts and voice analysis, and they're going there's no possible way for a human to make a sound this low or this high pitched while the people who are recording are talking because they're terrified.
Could have been an animal of some other sort, though.
It's weird. It's
making
making
a Bigfoot.
Yeah, or a bear.
Dude, it's making whooping sounds. You'll never hear a bear go whoop.
Oh, that is Bigfoot.
Dude, it's fucking I believe in Bigfoot, so this shit fucked me up.
That sounds right up my alley. Because I love Bigfoot and I love missing people because we have too many people.
Yes.
We need
yes.
more of them.
But I love missing person cases, but the ones that they pick are so insane where it's talking about experienced hunters who are out there and they don't find a single trace of them, and they search for miles, and at one point FBI agents came in and they never come in for missing persons cases, so they're something's weird with this. But this one dude, he went missing and they found evidence along the way scattered of him, which isn't like a bear or with most animal attacks, when people are attacked, everything's scattered in a small radius.
Sure, yeah.
Where this one was, he literally had taken off his boots and put them down side by side, and a couple other objects which are indicative of a human doing this in a certain effort, and then they found some more of his supplies 11 miles farther, and some of the things he was carrying was a crossbow and everything, and his backpack, which are all very heavy, and this was in the middle of winter during a snowstorm, so there's no fucking way a person takes off his boots, because they thought it was hypothermia, because that's a very common thing for hypothermia. They found some of his stuff farther down in a completely different other area that was actually near a small town. They found a thermos that was perfectly stacked on a rock with the lid open, like someone had been drinking it.
Chili. Kevin's famous chili.
I have fucking no idea. But like, then years later, they found this dude's skeletal remains like another 22 miles or something. So like, these things are impossible to explain.
Sure, yeah.
And like, really interesting stuff. And David Paulides is a super interesting guy. He's a former detective, and he's interviewing all these state troopers and all these other people about all of these missing people's cases. And there's just like, there's too many things that have happened in certain cases that it's impossible. You know what I mean? Like, it's some of the shit's literally impossible. Like, people going missing and nothing is ever found of them. They're like, even in a sinkhole, sometimes you'll be able to find like certain things, but like, it's like these people literally disappeared off the face of the earth.
What was this called again?
It's called Missing 411.
Okay.
There's a series of books he's put out. They're very hard to find. Like, each book is out of print. I've been trying to get them, and they're like $100 a piece.
The government's trying to shut them down.
This one, because we watch on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
nice. I got that.
There's two movies. The first one's just Missing 411. That one's readily available. And then Missing 411: The Hunted recently.
It's brand new.
It came out like the 23rd of last month or something.
So you're gonna have to pirate that one.
Or you could, buy it, which I actually did buy it.
Okay.
FBI, if you're listening, he bought it. He paid money for it.
Let's just point out, though, that this David Paulides guy was also involved in Ancient Aliens.
Oh, dude, he's so on board with Sasquatch, aliens. He believes in all shit. You wouldn't believe some of the shit that he's talking about.
1,000 Ways to Die. Remember that show? I used to love that. That was like one of the only good things on the Spike Network. That and what was the Pamela Anderson...
VIP.
Booberella.
VIP.
Oh,
VIP.
that was Booberella. You guys remember Booberella?
No.
I just remember.
Was that a
VIP.
cartoon?
Yeah.
Okay, I do remember Booberella.
Booberella?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No.
Okay, so that's all I've had. So I would definitely recommend those if you're really into missing persons cases. This stuff is like top tier interesting.
Awesome. Yeah, we're gonna note everything that we talk about that we've seen. It'll be in the show notes. So if you're interested in checking it out, and we said it too fast, or you don't remember what we were talking about, refer to that.
Yeah.
Cool. I got a couple things. Our friend Lana from Boston, when she was here a couple weeks ago, she smuggled in a copy of the Jaws board game for me.
Nice.
So she got it from. They only have it in the States right now. It's put out through Ravensburger, and they're just like a big board game company that make a lot of the big name titles. But she smuggled it in for me because you can't get it anywhere here. So I was very excited for that.
Where did she smuggle it?
Well. Oh, she put it up her butt.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No, it was in her purse.
Very understandable. Yeah. Very understandable.
But no, so she brought it here, and we finally got a chance to play it on Saturday night. Played it with Courtney and my friend Dallas, who was on for the Gate episode. It's a 4-player board game, tabletop board game, and it basically takes you through 2 different acts. That you start off on Amity Island, and then after that, it's either you can play as the Shark or Hooper, Quint, or Brody. And it's what one of you, like, the people are on a team, and then the Shark is a separate team. And in order to go to round 2, either the Shark wins or the human wins, and then you end up on the Orca. So you flip the board around, and you're playing on Quint's Orca. And it is a very complicated game. Like, you played the Thing board game once over here. So when we first got the Thing board game, it was so confusing. But we finally figured it out, and then once you figure it out, it's actually
honestly,
so
it
easy.
makes sense. Yeah,
it makes so much sense. It's super easy to play once you learn. But I know
it's kind of like a video game because you just you have your itinerary and you just have to do certain objectives with your friends.
Yeah, so I listened to a lot of podcasts where they talked about the Thing board game and they got overwhelmed and they just stopped playing completely. And so that's why I feel like hopefully that's going to happen with me with Jaws, because I'm not over it yet. I'm not done because it was fun, but it's super fucking confusing, and it's like the mechanics are pretty. I'm not convinced that they're not broken. Like, I feel like it's very, very favored in the Sharks' side there. So obviously,
well, as it should be. That shark is a killing machine.
Exactly, but the shark can't walk on land. So there's a whole bunch of different things to it. But yeah, I don't know. I so far it was a cool experience, but I'm looking forward to trying it more. I'm gonna have to try it more. If you do get your hands on it, I would encourage to have 4 people play. Because you always have to have Hooper, Quint, and Brody playing against the Sharks. So for me, it was me and Dallas. I was Brody, he was Quint, and we both had to control Hooper as well. Because you can't just get Hooper out of there because he's got the fish finder. And if you're familiar with the movie, there's a lot of really cool Easter eggs in it. But I'm just super excited and happy to have it. So thank you, Lana, for picking that up for me. Moving on from that, have you guys heard of the movie In Dreams? Came out in the 90s, starring Annette Bening and Robert Downey Jr. So this is one of my like early experiences with movies where like my parents were watching a movie and it scared like I just saw a scene and it scarred me for life. And In Dreams was one of them, and I completely forgot about it for so long until it was mentioned on the Shockwaves podcast a couple of weeks ago. I just like made it like known that I was like, hey, Courtney, we're going to be watching this. So it's on Amazon Prime, so that's where we watched it. It's directed by Neil Jordan, who also directed Interview with the Vampire and Byzantium. The story is an artist named Claire experiences unwanted dreams that she believes is a telepathic connection to an active child serial killer. So
cool.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. And in theory, like I remember it being a real good movie. Her dreams get increasingly more vivid and more active as you kind of go along with her. So the audience kind of feels like you're going crazy because the editing is so frenetic and it's strange. And the child serial killer is played by Robert Downey Jr. So that's strange. And like the score is like very classical. So it's such a strange movie. I saw people online comparing it to Mother, and I wouldn't go that far at all. I think it's just like, it's a really cool idea that just wasn't executed well. It did not hold up. It was pretty rough. Like it's just confusing. And I'm not a stupid person as much as I always say that I am. Like
it's confusing in a not fun way.
Well, no, yeah, it's messy. It's messy. So I don't know. It didn't really hold up for me. I wouldn't recommend it, but I don't know if you are someone who has seen it before, or like you grew up watching that movie, or for some reason you're a fan of it. Please message me because I have questions. Last thing I'm going to talk about is, I think I alluded to it last episode because we had just started it, but Courtney and I binged the entire first season of The Boys on Amazon.
Sure, yeah,
Amazon Prime. So this is based on the comic book series by Garth Ennis. It's starring people like Carl Urban, Elizabeth Shue, Jack Quaid, who's Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's son. Simon Pegg plays a small role in it. There's an awesome cameo from Billy Zane, so shout out there.
All right.
Billy Zane, active listener. Haley Joel Osment, he's not actually a listener.
You know what, he might be.
Yeah, but yeah, Haley Joel Osment. Okay, so yeah, this show, man, superhero. They're like, are you a superhero fan?
Yeah,
but like we're getting kind of it's.
Yeah, like I saw Endgame and I went, I think I'm good for like maybe like 5 years. Like I think I've had my fill of. I watched 22 of these in a row. I think I'm good.
And now I'm at the point where I'm almost getting anti-hero fatigue. Because now we have I've been watching Doom Patrol, which is good. Here's Doom Patrol, Suicide Squad, all that kind of stuff. Like even I know Deadpool's not an anti-hero, but he's still like that wide mouth, like loud, always swearing, bloody,
cool guy.
Cool guy. This show is fucking awesome. It was so good. I loved every single second of it. Courtney and I were obsessed with it. We just did not stop pressing play on the next episode, and it was a huge breath of fresh air in the superhero world. It's definitely, if you haven't read the comic books, it's based in a world where there's a group called the Seven, which is basically the Justice League. They're almost kind of making fun of the Justice League a little bit, and they're celebrities in their own right, and it's just a very grounded version of what it would be like if we had the Justice League and they were slightly corrupt, or there was stuff behind the camera. Yeah, and they're super fucking corrupt in the show, and it's but then you have like this guy played by Carl Urban who plays Billy Butcher, who basically assembles a group of ragtag people to take them down, or like take these superheroes down, and it is. I would recommend it to anyone. Like people, it's almost especially if you aren't a fan of superhero shows. It's like the anti-superhero show, and it's fucking hilarious. I showed Boozy a scene from it last week.
You showed me a couple scenes, and like I was laughing. I had no context of what was going on. I was like, "This is funny."
Oh man, it is so funny, and it's like they don't hold back at all. Like it is just so brutally violent and politically incorrect in so many ways.
Nice.
There's so many things I saw in that show that I never thought I would ever see because it's never come through my mind. But there's one to do with a role-playing sex scene, another to do with a dolphin, another to do with a baby, and another with a plane. So like, there's just, I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just saying that there's fucking crazy scenes in this show.
Have either of you guys read the comic that it's based on?
I read it, yeah.
The comic's phenomenal. I haven't seen the show yet, but I'm a huge fan of the comic.
And that's the thing is, are you a fan of the Preacher show?
I haven't seen Preacher. Love the comic on that, though. Yeah.
So I like the show so much, I was like, I need more Garth Ennis in my life again. So I went back and I started rereading Preacher last night. So I'm going to go through that whole series. And Courtney and I also just started the TV show.
Nice.
So we're doing it hand in hand. And what's nice about it is that you can do the TV show and the books at the same time because they're so different. And I watched the first couple episodes a couple years ago when it first dropped, and I wasn't like in love with it, but I didn't hate it by any means. I was just like, yeah, I'll come back to it when there's a season built up and I can binge it or something. But I'm really enjoying it. Like, we're 4 episodes into season 1 now, but like the only reason we started this is because of how much we love the boys, and we're like, we need more boys. We need more shit like this. So like, we're trying to get our fill.
It's amazing how your opinion of a show can change, like in terms of like because I started watching Preacher as well, and I got about 4 episodes in, but watching them weekly, and was like, fuck this. Like, I don't want to sit and watch this slow burn shit. Like, so to sit down and like just binge it, it's 2019. I have no attention span. So
exactly. No, I agree.
Yeah,
and
but
it's
to
way
sit
better
down,
being able to watch it just constantly.
Yeah, and there's 3 seasons out now.
Yeah,
and
they just started the final season right now, so it's a good time to start it. Yeah, so but I highly recommend, if you have Amazon Prime, check out The Boys. Give it 1 episode, and if you don't like already kind of love it, you don't need to continue. But Jesus, every episode just gets better and better. It is nuts. Like, they did not neuter Ennis at all.
Nice.
And those who know Garth Ennis, he's like, I know you read a bit of Crossed. That's him not at his peak.
Really?
So, like, well, Crossed is just insane.
Which is Crossed? Which one's that?
It's the one with it's like a zombie apocalypse, sort of. They're all infected, but they're like,
and people are just like raping and murdering. I fucking hate that. It's too much.
It is too much. It was just like, it felt like him like trying really hard to just offend everyone.
Yeah.
And that's not what he's best.
I didn't feel like there was enough story. So when all this shit kept hitting, I was like, I don't like anybody in this. I don't justify reading this because I don't give a shit about the characters.
Yeah, and that's why it's completely different with The Boys, and it's completely different with Preacher. Like, both of those series, there's people to latch onto, people that you love. I love everyone in The Boys. Like, honestly, man, I have the bit, like, I was talking about last week, I have a Robert Pattinson crush going on.
Oh, hell yeah. We're going to talk about Twilight? All right, guys, here's my 20-minute rant about why I love Twilight.
Exactly. No, like,
out of the closets into the streets.
But I have a huge Carl Urban boner now. Like, I've always been like, Carl Urban's good, but he's not like, I've never been like attached to him in any way.
Oh, I'm sorry, did you not see Dredd?
Yeah, I love Dredd. Dredd. But the thing is, you just see his chin.
That's true, and so it's a good chin.
It is a good chin. It's a real good chin. But oh man, yeah, I love Dredd. But Carl Urban in The Boys is perfect. He's such a good Billy Butcher. I love it. I love it. So check it out, and I guess we can move on from there.
It's funny to think, though, just for a second here, but like the lead character of The Boys and the lead character of Preacher, to look at them, are the exact same person.
They're so
like,
similar,
they're just a white dude with black short hair. Like, I wonder if that's what Garth Ennis looks like.
I know. Oh yeah, he's just a short white guy with no hair.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So he's just like a better version of what he wishes he was.
If only I could be a little more muscular and have a full head of black hair. That's me, the ideal man.
Oh man, yeah. Carl Urban is such a goddamn badass in The Boys. It's so good. I can't praise it enough. I loved it.
He's one of those guys where like someone like Ryan Reynolds, where I go like, for so long this guy is just underappreciated. He's great in everything. He always elevates the work he's in, and now hopefully with The Boys, Carl Urban gets his due with that.
Man, people just got to see it. Yeah, people just got to see it, because this could make him like I know he's already a star in some capacity, but this could really be a tentpole name for him.
Nice.
Like, he's such a good character. But also, I just hope, because it's weird because it's on Amazon Prime, and I know not a lot like people. The amount of people who have Netflix don't have Amazon Prime. Like,
right.
It's very different, but I think it's definitely a reason to subscribe and check it out. There's also tons of good stuff on Amazon Prime. We've been watching a lot of stuff on there. A lot of cheesy 90s garbage. We watched The Substitute the other day.
Nice.
Awesome.
Oh, Carl... No, what's his name?
Those Treat Williams.
Berenger.
John Berenger.
Yeah, Tom Berenger.
Tom Berenger.
Sniper.
Yes,
fuck
exactly.
Yeah.
The sequels are Treat Williams.
Right, yeah. No, original. I want Tommy B. Yeah. Chicago's finest.
What's his name? The guy who was married, one of the 15 guys who was married to Jennifer Lopez, Mark Anthony.
Right,
Mark Anthony, he's the lead gangster in The Substitute. Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah, is that the movie where at the end they take the school under siege?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, fuck yeah. Guys, if you're listening, The Substitute is amazing. Go watch it immediately. It is so good.
The Substitute is awesome. Courtney was like, I need to give this 5 stars. I'm like, Courtney, you can't, but I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go into our question?
Sure. So I guess this kind of kicks off our first officially finishing a question is, we decided last week we'll have a question of the week, and every week we'll answer it, and we'll hopefully get some feedback. I don't think we got any feedback this week.
The episode's been up a day.
Yeah, which is understandable, totally understandable. But we managed to get you in time so that you would give us. So
did you come up with an answer?
Potentially. I thought of some stuff.
So the question was, write me a shark movie in the spirit of Shark Week.
Pitch
me a shark film. Who would like to go first?
Oh, you're both looking at me. I guess I will go first.
You go
Here is the guest.
The inaugural,
So I just came up with this. So like I don't have a title.
This to be like an airtight.
Yeah. So I'm making a direct pitch to the Asylum with this one. Okay. So the Asylum production company, if you're still around, if you still exist, obviously you're a big fan of this show. Listen to this pitch and then pay me $100 million to make it, because I'll make the shit out of this movie. So basically, astronauts are heading to Europa to explore Europa, Jupiter's ice moon. It's a water planet covered in a sheet of ice.
God, I love you already.
And so these astronauts go to this ice moon, they land, and everything is hunky-dory there, everything's fine, and then they discover underneath the ice is a whole ecosystem of all kinds of creatures, including a gigantic jet black eyeless shark that swims around and is the mega like alpha predator on there.
Big dick
I'm like so into this already.
So there's like the sci-fi. Clearly, if you listen to the start of this episode, I like sci-fi horror. That seems to be my genre. So there's a great sci-fi element. You got the spaceships, you got astronauts in spacesuits, you got all kinds of futuristic technology and shit. And then you got the shark just stalking people and killing people. It can be alien looking, but still a shark at its core. And the perfect killing machine. So I don't have a name for this movie yet, but the Asylum, this is right up your alley. Make this movie. Come on.
Into it. That's going to be tough to top.
Get Casper Van Dien in it, and you're good to go. Like that's all.
He always needs money. Good.
Yeah. Yes,
I need to give Casper Van Dien more money.
There's not enough Starship Troopers sequels to pay for his beach house, so make this movie.
Fuck yeah.
Do you want me to go next, or are you going to go next?
Do you want me to go since it's your question?
Sure.
You can close it up?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to read mine out because, I came up with this morning, but definitely not as good as that. But, okay, so hear me out here. The year is 2045. The entire shark species is facing extinction. The demand for shark fin soup is catastrophically high. Money has taken the back seat as quality shark fin soup is the universal currency. The economy is now in the ocean. There are no more farmers. There's no more doctors, no more lawyers, no more law enforcement. All that is left is a broken society clawing at each other's throats to poach the remainder of the ocean.
Is this like Ocean Mad Max?
The streets are littered with the discarded spoils of this epidemic, and the ocean has become a battlefield. Humans have developed an addiction for shark fin soup that reaches beyond a simple craving. It has become a necessity. The word hope has been removed from Webster's dictionary. Earth has reached the edge of oblivion. At the center of impending Armageddon stands one man with the knowledge and drive to begin the reverse of this extinction of sharks and mankind alike. Hidden away in his lavish, pristine, and state-of-the-art underground laboratory, Leonardo DiCaprio is harboring more than Earth's last standing supermodels and premium vape juices. He possesses a Blu-ray copy of the only film left on Earth and the discarded pieces of a 40-foot great white shark. Ex-Hollywood actor, now full-time keyboard warrior, Leonardo DiCaprio will build RoboShark.
Yes, I love it. That sounds amazing.
So that was really good.
The only movie he has left is RoboCop. And
nice.
So basically, think RoboCop, but great white shark taking back the streets and the ocean,
biting the dicks off pedophiles.
Exactly.
Hell yeah, I'm into it. Yep.
Yes.
How the fuck did you go from last night messaging me like, man, I have nothing, and all of a sudden you pull that out? Like, that's really fucking good.
Well, I remember, like, I was we were talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I watched recently. I haven't talked about on the show. Incredible. I loved it. I loved especially the last half hour. The last half hour made the whole movie better. But we're talking about Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm like, man, I love Leo the actor, but fuck do I hate Leo activist. And like he has like a huge platform for like to get people to not make shark fin soup anymore and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, I'll work off that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Top those, Boozy.
Oh, mine's not as funny. So that's the fucking annoying part, is I took this a little seriously, fuckers. All right, so here's my thing. North America, there's a giant, they're like 20 years building this. It's been going on in secrecy. They build a giant underground highway that's under everything under the ocean, and it's going to go all the way over to Australia. because we want to start connecting. We want to do more, but this is the first one that's opened. It's like the official one, and it's opening day. Everybody's really fucking excited, so everybody's driving through this tunnel thing, and there's still a little bit of construction going on, plenty of people under there, and there's like your Jurassic Park kind of people where it's like, send these couple people, the scientist people, they're gonna go in there and they're gonna look at the structural integrity.
They gotta be hot though.
Do a dry run.
These scientists need to be supermodels.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
there you go. He's big right now.
Yeah.
And then your science guy who's like hacking the mainframe, always Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
I want to give him more roles. Like,
man, you will love his scene in The Boys. Holy fuck. Sorry.
Okay, so they're going under there checking the structural integrity. You have like, it was the dry opening, so you have like some civilians who like maybe win like passes, that sort of thing. I'm kind of feeling like a Jurassic Park vibe from this. Nice. Jurassic World, quote unquote, where it's like, yeah guys, check out this super highway, blah 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 blah. Anyway, so what happens is they didn't think about how much the pressure of it in certain areas is, and all of a sudden you have, and some of the areas have like the big tempered glass, so you can look out into the ocean or whatever, and you know, people are driving along and some people have stopped and they got out of their vehicle and they're looking. Well, what happens is they're near the Marianas Trench. I know these are not anywhere close to each other.
No, this is great. This is perfect.
But big old fucking Megalodon eye comes by and he looks and he does the T-Rex thing where like the kid's looking and then the eye's looking back, and then all of a sudden he starts whacking at it. So eventually starts putting some holes in it. You start having water seep in. Megalodon himself does not get in. He fucks off. But what happens? He had a ton of babies with him. He had a little flock.
Baby shark?
Yeah, baby shark. So they all start flooding in, and it's all these people trying to figure out, like, how the fuck are we going to get out of there? So they're driving in certain spots, and then certain areas are flooded because there's, like, dips and stuff, and they have to try and make their way out, and, like, there eventually, like, enough water comes in, you start having a current, so, like, people are hopping on cars that are, like, it's, like, basically a flood when, like, the cars are floating along and they're, like, smashing into each other, so people who, quote-unquote, think they're safe are running out of time because there's not enough air and the water seeping in, so they're trying to, like, stay safe on these cars because the sharks are coming in, but now the cars are hitting into each other, so they're getting knocked into the water. That's about all I had.
Nice. That's great. I love that you took Jurassic Park, you mixed it with Roland Emmerich's Godzilla, and then said, and make it about sharks.
Exactly. Perfect. You sounded like me trying to explain to my friends after I saw Total Recall the first time. It's like, and this chick had 3 boobs. And there's Okay, awesome. No, that's a lot of fun. So we're going to have a new question at the end of this episode, post-credits.
So we'll have a little bit more time between episodes, so hopefully we can get somebody else in on this, maybe get a feel for what's going on.
This one will be a little bit easier, too. I hope you don't mind I took the reins for this question today. But yeah, so we'll ask another question, and you can get involved in the conversation next week. So with all that being said, I guess we can move on to the news. So, Boozy, could you hit me with some motherfucking newsies? And welcome to Boozy's Newsies. I guess I'm taking the lead here because I'm going to be talking about the news today.
Yeah, I was ill prepared, so Mitch is filling in for me here.
Okay, well, I got a hot one, fresh off right off the press, as of 14 minutes ago. From the moment that we're recording this, keep in mind we're going to be posting this in a couple days, so people who are listening probably already.
It'll be lukewarm by then.
Well, they'll know about it. But as of 14 minutes ago, from this moment, Event Horizon is receiving a television series.
Yes!
They heard us talking. It's receiving a television series. It's getting the treatment through Amazon, which is streaming The Boys. Apparently, they're like mining for horror properties. Like, they're trying to make horror shit all over the place on Amazon. And Adam Wingard is set to executive produce and direct the series.
Nice.
So that's amazing. He just finished Kong vs. Godzilla or whatever the fuck that one's called. Mm-hmm. But either way, I'm stoked for that. I definitely want to watch that. So.
I have no idea what they're going to do with that.
No idea.
I was just thinking because you could basically do a retelling. It would just be a longer, more detailed one, or you could do it where something where like another crew finds what previously had happened and go from there.
I just want to know if they're going to do the BDSM ship again.
Right.
Because like
the hell dimension.
Like, the ship has like, it just looks like a dominatrix dungeon.
Oh yeah, well, if you've seen any of the deleted scenes and stuff that they wanted to put in there, like, you could do some crazy shit with that.
And Amazon's the perfect place for it. There's no rules, so they can just go nuts. Man,
like, that's the one thing I didn't mention is I have no idea how the boys got away with doing what they did. Like, there's so many moments where I'm like, this is just too much. And like, that's coming from me, and I love it. But okay, so that's the last time I'm going to blow the boys today. Not you guys, though.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, there'll be more of that.
Are you afraid of the dark? Nickelodeon series airs in October. The teaser trailer is out now. It's going to be a 3-part series. So it's got, all I know is the only kid that I recognize from it is going to be the little fat kid from It. And he's in Goosebumps 2. You know, no, like...
Oh, you're talking about Jack Black.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so this one's going to be like a Nickelodeon show, so if you're a fan of the Midnight Society...
Hell yeah.
I don't know why this reminded me of it, but as long as it's not that fat guy from the last Spider-Man movie...
You don't like that guy, the Asian one?
Fucking hated him.
Oh man, I love him.
You don't love
the quote unquote comic relief guy.
This goes back to Boozy's racism though. So.
This is true.
Oh, that's a well-worn subject.
Anytime I don't like anyone and they're not white, it's like, oh.
Well, because he hates Jordan Peele.
Oh,
yeah, he's a Get Out naysayer. So
yeah, okay.
You know what? No, I'm with you, man. Get Out is overrated as fuck.
Oh
yeah,
my God,
and so is Black Panther. Get at me, black people. I don't give a fuck.
Moving on. I love both of those. I legitimately love both.
Thank you for taking the heat off me there.
Hell yeah, man. Wonder Woman 2. I don't give a shit about this.
Yeah. All right, and we talked about this on the last episode, but today the full Mindhunter Season 2 trailer dropped, and it shows... Have you watched it yet? Obviously you haven't because you were busy this morning, but you got to watch it because it's going to highlight the Atlanta child murderers, Manson, BTK, Son of Sam, and more Ed Kemper, which we always need more Ed Kemper in our lives. So, yeah, that'll be dropping August 16th.
I know we had talked about, like, I'm just not that into the Manson thing right now.
Oh, man, I'm into the Manson thing.
It feels like there's been quite a few things about the Manson thing in the last couple of years.
This is going to be, like, Manson treated the way that we want to see it treated, though.
Like,
I guess.
I don't know. The weird
I don't know what I'm saying here.
Manson, but sexy.
Yeah, it's a sexy Manson. No, I don't know. I'm definitely into that. I'm definitely more interested in, like, the BTK side of things with Mindhunter.
Because even if you do your research on Son of Sam, he's really fucking boring. He's like a big whiny baby.
How do you feel about the Atlanta child murderers? Are you a fan of those?
Of course I am. Like I love less people in this world.
Yeah, but like I know because honestly I don't know a whole lot about the Atlanta child murderers, but Courtney knows a lot about, so that got her really excited.
Of course, Courtney does.
Yeah,
she's a woman. It's 2019. She loves true crime.
Exactly. That's bingo. All right, so that's dropping on August 16th, which is the same day that 47 Meters Down Uncaged is coming out.
Nice.
As well as
a stacked day.
I know, but if you're in Saskatoon, you should go to the Broadway Theater and check out The Art of Self-Defense, which is going to be it's a dark comedy that's being presented by the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival, and it's starring Jesse Eisenberg, Imogen Poots, and it's like the classic story of Jesse Eisenberg gets beat up and then goes to a karate class to try and defend himself. So I'm really looking forward to watching it. But me, Boozy, and John Boy.
For like 2 seconds, I thought this was going to turn into like a Columbine thing. Like, he learns karate, then he goes to a shooting range, and then he just goes back to school.
No.
Is this like a new Jesse Eisenberg movie?
It's brand new. Okay. So they're just, they got the go-ahead to play it, and it's going to be playing at the Broadway Theater for a week. So
nice. Has his bubble burst where he's not the Hollywood guy anymore?
I don't think he was ever the Hollywood guy, but, like, it's got to...
he played Lex Luthor. He's the Hollywood
guy. But that's
guy.
the problem.
Yeah,
that's what's got to burst this bubble, is the Lex Luthor bullshit.
That definitely cool people.
Awful in that.
But that's what I mean. We're okay with Robert Pattinson now because he had his bubble, it burst, and now he's like the indie guy.
Well, he did good time, which is enough for me.
Okay,
I love that
but
movie.
that's not in like everyone's regular lexicon of movies, right?
No,
that's not a common.
Neither is this. This isn't going to.
No, that's what I mean though. Is like Jesse Eisenberg went from doing like all this mainstream
the
shit
Social Network.
Yeah, for a couple years he was big. Yeah, and
Zombieland 2's coming out, so they're trying to milk that dead cow. So
man, I was gonna watch Zombieland yesterday because we were so because I'm actually kind of excited to see the sequel. I know nothing about I haven't watched the trailer, but I'm just like it's not something that I've ever been like I want more Zombieland. Yeah. But I liked Zombieland when I saw it. But then The Boys was just too good. I brought it up again.
You're really on with The Boys.
Yes, really into The Boys right now. But I don't know. I'm definitely going to be checking out Art of Self-Defense at the Broadway Theater on August 16th, and hopefully going to see 47 Meters Down on August 15th, which is the Thursday, because it's going to be a jam-packed weekend.
You've seen the first one?
47 Meters Down? Mandy Moore, yeah, you bet.
Yes,
there.
Fuck yeah. Walk
to Remember, you go because of Mandy Moore?
Well, I watched because of Mandy Moore, of course.
And you, just from the flexion of your voice, it sounds like you're excited.
I mean, I just, my emotions are never sincere, so I don't know how I feel about it. It wasn't
lying to us.
It wasn't as good as The Shallows, I will say that. The Shallows was way better.
Yeah, we disagree, but there's a lot of people who are on your side.
The Shallows was awesome. That movie is the shit.
We need we need some of that voice. Are you a Rob Zombie fan by chance? Because maybe you could get that out of
no.
Okay,
so who am I, a 15-year-old boy? Why would I like Rob Zombie anymore?
Okay, because that's like, we've kind of been known to be a little one-sided.
Yeah, we take flack for not liking Rob Zombie.
Well, good, he's dog shit, so...
That, and we prefer 47 meters down over the Shallows, but that's for a different time.
Yeah.
But we're happy we have some representation from the Shallows camp over
Thanks
here.
for having me on, guys.
Last but not least, video game Destroy All Humans is getting a remake, and I am stoked for it. Mm-hmm. They released the trailer for it today, and it looks awesome. I had a ton of fun with that when I was a teenager.
Yep.
That was right around the time I was discovering the Devil's Lettuce. So I was really, really, really into that game. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to going back to it.
Game holds up. Have you played Stubbs the Zombie?
No.
Oh, you'd love Stubbs the Zombie. Yeah. You play as it came out around the same time as Destroy All Humans, and you play a zombie and you just infect people and you walk around. It's very like 1950s, kind of kitschy, and it's awesome. Kind of the same aesthetic as Destroy All Humans. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. Awesome. Cool. That's all I got for news because it's been a couple days since. The last time. So yeah, we'll get on to our main feature, which we're going to be talking about Lake Placid with our buddy Shawn Broom.
Existed since prehistoric times. It was worshipped by primitive cultures. It can kill a man with one crushing bite.
We heard a man was bit in half.
Any recent bear attacks?
Bears don't attack people underwater.
Probably a fever then.
What was that?
Whatever's out there being shot with this, he's dead.
Oh no.
Sheriff, how many deputies you got?
You came here to help you find it.
We can't let him kill it.
Experience a few parts mystery.
Do you have any theories of why he's here?
Honestly, I don't know.
And a few parts missing.
It's a human toe.
Is this the man who was killed? He seemed taller.
Oh my God.
Bill Pullman.
Shoot him! No!
How much of a wacko is this guy? Bridget Fonda.
Mother!
Oliver Platt.
Maybe he swam back out!
Maybe not. I just have this feeling everything's totally safe.
This summer, the Earth's oldest creature has just found a new home.
Go under!
Lake Placid.
All right, welcome to our main feature presentation in which we are going to be discussing the movie Lake Placid, which was released in 1999. The movie was directed by Steve Miner, who was the director of Friday the 13th Part 2 and Part 3. He also directed House, which is a favorite horror film of mine, Warlock, and Halloween H2O. He's also done a whole bunch of other garbage.
He did a movie called Soul Man, where a white person dresses like a black man to get into college. So let's not forget about Soul Man.
Are you serious?
That's a classic. Yeah.
Is that like 90s?
80s, I believe.
Okay, because I feel like that stuff where people go like, ha, stereotypes. Yeah. Like it was funny back then.
Sure,
now you're looking, you're like, ooh, this is touchy.
You can't do that. Yeah, but like, I think it came out like I think it's his fourth movie after the first two Friday the 13th. Yeah.
Crazy. I knew nothing about that. That's awesome.
Honestly, as far as him directing Halloween sequels, H2O, not that bad.
H2O is one of the
best
better ones. Yeah, it's one of the better ones.
Yep.
And it's written, so a huge surprise for this movie, like when it was released, was the writer. The writer is David E. Kelly, who is the creator of the hit TV show Doogie Howser. He also created Boston Legal, The Practice, and Ally McBeal.
Hell yeah.
So think about that. The guy who made Ally McBeal made Lake Placid. He wrote Lake Placid. That's hilarious to me. So lately he's led the charge in writing hit TV shows like Big Little Lies, Mr. Mercedes, and Goliath with Bad Santa. Was it Billy Bob Thornton?
Yeah. Never heard or seen any of them.
David Cox, I think.
Big Little Lies is like the biggest show on earth right now. It's like Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon. I haven't seen it yet, but
I thought Stranger Things was the biggest thing right now.
Yeah, though this is like for elevated audiences,
for normies.
Yeah, and Mr. Mercedes is that book. It also has Brendan Gleeson.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched the show yet, but Courtney read all the books. She's that person who made it through. So Lake Placid starring Bill Pullman, Bridget Fonda, Oliver Platt, Brendan Gleeson, and the great Betty White. Special effects makeup was done by the GOAT, Stan Winston.
Yeah.
For those of you who are not privy to makeup effects, this is the man who did the special makeup effects for Jurassic Park, Aliens, Terminator, The Monster Squad, Predator, Leviathan, and Congo.
Nice.
I like Congo.
I need to rewatch Congo
Oh, shitty Peter.
I loved Congo when I was a kid, but I have like almost no recollection
Dude,
of it.
I was really tempted when you were like, what movie should we do for the summer? I really wanted to be like, we're doing Congo.
Yeah, Congo is fucking great. There is a scene where a laser gun chops a monkey in half. Yep. It's fucking amazing.
Let's do it. I want to do Congo soon. Okay, but also, most importantly for me, or one of the most important things, is Stan Winston also directed Pumpkinhead, which is like such a awesome little fun fact there, because that movie is way too good to have been directed by a guy who only directed one movie. It makes no sense. But yeah, so let's talk about this movie in general. So we told Shawn that we were going to be doing Lake Placid today. Normally we let our guests choose a movie.
Sorry, Shawn.
That's okay.
Just by curiosity, if you off the top of your head, what would you have picked?
Oh, damn, that's tough. I mean, honestly, I probably would have picked Congo. Like,
really?
I mean, like,
shut up.
I mean, probably not. Probably not. I want to say I probably would have picked the Evil Dead remake, but yeah, Lake Placid's great. I was psyched when you guys said it, because I was like, oh yeah, I can talk tons of shit.
I know.
About this
I
movie.
messaged you, and I was kind of waiting for you to be like, oh really?
No.
But you were like stoked, like really?
Yeah,
like
Lake Placid is great. Yeah.
I remember this is paid off. If this works out, which I feel like it's going to, this is paid off twice now, because usually we let our guests pick the show, or pick the movie that we're talking about. But I remember when Boozy told me that we were having John Allison of the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival on, a good friend of ours. But he is not the guy that I would be like, hey, come on and talk about Maximum Overdrive with us.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly what he did. And like, I love John for it, but I was just like, man, Boozy, like, come on.
Yeah, he was not like excited.
That's crazy. Maximum Overdrive is awesome. It is a
something.
classic Emilio Estevez vehicle right there.
Yeah,
But like his response was kind of like, oh, we're doing Maximum Overdrive. Like, oh,
because this is the guy who just like he has access to amazing movies, all of these awesome movies that he can be watching.
Film connoisseur, and we're like, here, eat this.
He's like the best home theater you would ever see, and he's like programs a film festival, and he loves movies, and we're like, watch Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah, it's like heating up a burrito for Gordon Ramsay. You're just like, here you go, sir.
Maximum Overdrive is worth watching just to see how Emilio Estevez delivers the line, "I've got eggs on."
Oh man,
it's perfect.
Yeah. I think I liked it the most out of everyone when we talked about
so.
it. Yeah, cool. So Lake Placid though, Lake Placid. What's everyone's history with it?
Oh, so much history.
Because sometimes you have no history with a movie, and sometimes just like, hey, I watched this when I was a kid and I liked it. But like, I have a real history with Lake
Placid.
Placid.
I think I scoped this out. I was fairly young because it was after I'd seen Jaws. Like, I feel like Jaws and Jurassic Park were my first like nature run amok quote unquote movies go. Yeah. But I remember just seeing that we'd kind of talked off air about it, and I wish we would have talked more on air about it. But about the cover art for it, and the original the original cover art is just the big mouth opening, and there's
with
like
Bridget Fonda.
Yeah, with Bridget Fonda, and I remember seeing that at the movie store, and I had to rent it, or I think I got my parents to rent it or whatever, and I still own a VHS copy because I bought it after. I watched that movie a ton, and I think once we get into talking about it is that I didn't realize what the movie was. I was just waiting for Croc Shark to
it was a horror movie to you when you were a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting to think that, like, I wonder if they consciously, like, if the poster for it with the shark, with the alligator or the crocodile coming out of the water is supposed to be like a play on like Jaws 2, Jaws 3, like the covers of those. It's got to be, right?
Well, because this movie came out in what, 99? I was 7 when this movie first came out, so I had to have been. It was a couple years later before I really knew what it was. Obviously, I wasn't going opening night to see it.
Oh, see, me and my dad went like real early on to go see it. Like maybe opening weekend, I think we went to go see this. Yeah.
So I'm interested, like, if this thing got a wide release, like tons of commercials on TV all the time.
Dude, this was a huge movie. I remember build up for it. Like it was on my calendar. Like I couldn't tell if it was Monday or Tuesday or like Saturday. I was a kid. I was 9 years old. But Lake Placid was what I was living for. I was like, saw the trailers on TV, told my dad I want to go. I'm going to let you go, but I'll carry on after with my story.
I mean, my dad and I went to go see it when I was 12, I think, when it came out. And I just remember like I'd see Jurassic Park was my favorite movie at the time. Still is, top 5. But like Jaws, I'd seen Jaws, same as you, right? Just kind of had seen those nature run amok. And when that movie came out, he was just like, all right, we're going to see Lake Placid. Like, get excited, here we go. We went to the Cineplex Odeon in Regina on Albert Street. Rest in peace, Cineplex Odeon in Regina. and just like, I saw all the best movies at that place. I saw Mortal Kombat at that theater. I saw
Phantom Menace.
Yeah, well, yeah, fuck yeah. All like, Empire Strikes Back, when they re-released it, saw that at the Cineplex. Fucking great. But anyway, this movie, and then like once it came out on DVD and VHS, bought the DVD like many years later and just watched it till it was broken. Like I love Lake Placid.
That's awesome. That's such good news that we like. Yeah, okay. Yeah, like I was 9 years old. I told you guys before we started recording here, but this was the month that was official that my parents were divorced. And it was like where I moved in with my dad and my mom. I had like Sunday to Wednesday was with my mom, Thursday to Saturday was with my dad.
So this is technically AD, not BD.
This is definitely AD. Or no, this is BD. No, yeah, this is AD. Yeah, sorry.
This is AD. This is after
this
divorce.
might just be D.
Yeah, this was.
I guess this is straight up D here.
This was fresh, and it was in the time where like our parents thought that I was a lot more upset than I was, but really I was 9 years old. I didn't comprehend what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
I was just like, hell yeah, 2 Christmases? Like, I'm like, I've always wanted to move into a different house. So at that time, I was a kid. I didn't know anything. And this was also around the time where like my grandparents were just like, oh, Mitch is so upset. Let's take him to Disneyland. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so upset. Like, take me to fucking Disneyland. And so they were doing all that kind of shit. But I remember my dad being like, Mitch, it's your birthday. Like, what do you want to do for your birthday? I'm like, Lake Placid, duh. I was like, take me to Lake Placid. So my dad took me to Cineplex Odeon in Center Mall here, which is about to be RIP because we're getting a new theater in there. But I went and saw Lake Placid on my birthday, and it was just like a dream come true for me. And my dad hates these kinds of movies, so he just sat there and enjoyed his popcorn but watched me have the time of my life. I loved it. I was terrified. I thought it was so scary. One of the first movies I saw that like with recollection of is Jaws, so very similar idea. Also, my nana, my grandma, is in BC, and this movie is filmed in Surrey, BC.
Oh,
and
really?
I remember her, like, there was so, like, you were saying that you were wondering if there's a theatrical release. And I was following this movie for so long, because my grandma was like, they're filming this new crocodile movie in Surrey. And I was just like, oh my god, I need to go there, because the only other filming location I'd been at that point was because of her, and it was Air Bud.
Nice,
It was
nice.
the place where the kid played basketball with the dog behind the church. But I was just like, I want to go to Lake Placid, like, because that's not actually what it's called there, obviously.
There is a real Lake Placid, though. I'm pretty sure in the States.
There is,
so
it's in the States.
They even mentioned that in the movie.
Yeah,
do they?
They wanted to name it Lake Placid, but they couldn't, and it was like, huh, ironic.
Yeah. So, like, long story short, I loved this movie so much that, like, a year later, when it was my birthday again, my dad let me have all my friends over for, like, just to hang out. We put up a tent in the backyard, and we had a big birthday party. So it was my 10th birthday, and I rented Lake Placid.
Nice.
And so it's like 2 birthdays in a row I watched Lake Placid. And this was at the time, remember those Doritos that were like puffy?
Yeah, 3D. 3 Doritos?
Yeah,
Something like that.
it was something like that. Like that. Do you remember those?
No.
Because I have a vivid. I was 10 years old, and I have a vivid memory of being like, my dad brought home like these Cool Ranch. That was the first time I had Cool Ranch Doritos. It was just a game changer. And I was like, boys, come over. We're watching Lake Placid.
You tried ranch, but you have Cool Ranch.
Exactly. So this was a big movie for me, and I've seen it. Honestly, this has got to be in the 50s, 60s.
Oh, shit.
Like, just for the movies that I just like. And it's one of those movies that I'll just put on and I just enjoy. But it's one that has gotten, I don't know if it's gotten better. I still love it. I love this movie. I'll get that out of the way. But I've it's become a different movie as an adult.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was trying to say before. So you don't realize what you're watching until way later.
Exactly. Like, when I was a kid, I wasn't picking up on the fact that this is like every line in this script is sarcasm.
Yeah.
And like I was like, I didn't pay attention to any of that.
It's dry
David E.
humor
Kelly.
the movie.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what he's known for.
Exactly.
It's his writing, right? The sharp writing.
That's exactly what it is. It's very sharp, and it's just Bridget Fonda being the inconvenienced dumb woman. Like, that's and that's what I'm like, there's a lot of this movie where I'm just like, man, this ages kind of poorly.
Oh yeah,
like pretty poorly, the way they talk to women in this movie and like how they're treated. I'm just like, but you also got to look at it as kind of a satire, which it sort of is. And I think that was the intention from the get-go. It just so happens to be like, this is going to be easy prey for people to like rewatch and be like, oh, this movie's super misogynistic. I think it knows that it's being misogynistic, and it knows it's
I
being
hope so.
stupid. Yeah, and it knows it's being silly, and it knows it's being dumb, and everyone in this movie is just like in over their heads, and it's just a blast.
Like, they introduce a grenade launcher, like, 20 minutes into it,
Yeah.
and there's like, and I have the small town sheriff has a grenade launcher now, and you're like, well, that's gonna blow something up. It's eventually like
that, and like, as much as people can say that this movie is also misogynistic, they could look at the character of Betty White. She's the strongest character in the entire
that's
movie.
true, yeah.
And she also has the snarkiest. Like, she's got the famous line. I know if Diego were here, he'd talk about it. But when we were initially starting this podcast up, we have our intro theme, and we originally had a whole bunch of samples added into it from famous horror movies, and the best one, and the one that we decided to take out all samples and just have it be a song.
I wish we would have kept.
Is like, there's a part in our intro where it kind of stops, and originally it was going to stop and then go to Betty White saying, "If I had a dick, this is where I'd tell you to suck it," and then it goes into something else. So it's like this movie runs deep in the Terror Table's blood. So it's unreal. I love. One last thing, and I'm going to let you guys take over. But Boozy messaged me last week, being like, "Can we do this podcast this day?" I'm like, "Yeah. What movie are we doing?" And he's just like, "I know this sounds stupid, but have we done an episode on Lake Placid before?" Like,
well, because I expect, I was like, why haven't we done? You know,
yeah, you're like 130 episodes in at this point.
I knew we had done Anacondas already, because we've always talked about, we love Anacondas, we love Lake Placid. We all knew we liked Lake Placid, but I was like, I can't remember if we had talked about it already.
Yeah, no, we haven't, and it's about goddamn time.
It's surprising.
Yeah, it is surprising.
And if you love Anaconda and Lake Placid, you're gonna love Anaconda versus Lake Placid.
Oh, have you seen it?
No.
Yeah.
If I'd have had a week, like if I'd have had a little more time to prepare for this, I was planning on watching all like 6 of the Lake Placid movies.
You wouldn't stand a chance.
No, they're pretty garbage. I've
watched a couple of them. And
you know how like the Jaws sequels kind of it has like Jaws 2 fairly good, and then it just
Jaws
drops
3
really,
the best one. Jaws 4 Michael Caine fine. Yeah.
There's like that sharp drop off. I feel like Lake Placid is like Lake Placid 1. Everything else is just this steep.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Also, we got some listener feedback that everyone really enjoyed the fact that we had spoiler-free reviews of our films, which I will say we will carry over into this one. So yes, you have to talk spoiler-free for a little while.
I also, who told you that? Because I have
Jeff.
Fuck Jeff, because
fuck you, Jeff.
I got a message from Alexa saying that she's happy that the spoiler free is back, because she's like, I bummed her out that she couldn't listen to Midsommar.
Yeah,
like because she wanted to hear the spoiler free to us talking about Midsommar, but she's just like, yeah, but why would I care about spoilers for Shark Night?
Right, true enough.
Agree.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I think 10 years.
I feel that we should carry on the tradition, because maybe there's someone in. What if we have a little listener, like a 12-year-old who just got his first iPhone or Samsung Galaxy?
Hasn't even gotten pubes yet.
Yeah, and guess what, kid? Fuck you if you haven't seen Lake Placid yet.
What is Lake Placid?
Yeah, get laid and then come talk to us.
Get your dick circumcised.
Circumcised yet? Yeah.
What about this? What if we go spoiler free for like a 15 minutes or whatever, and then we go all spoilers?
I just want us all to talk about what Lake Placid is, and then we can just raw dog the shit out of it after that.
Okay, all right. I like the idea.
Yeah.
When you put it that way, I'm into it. Yeah, like, I guess I'll just close up my thoughts, and I think this movie is fucking awesome. I still love it. Every time I watch it, I still love it. I think it's so witty. I think if anything, the faults in it is that it's like the sarcasm is like so frequent. That's just like, it doesn't stop being sarcastic the entire movie.
Sarcasm the movie.
Yeah, and it's just like, I could have used a little bit of like realism at some point, or like some kind of real interaction, which they try for, but it's always just Bridget Fonda annoys the fuck out of me.
She is so awful in this movie.
Yeah, she's so annoying in this movie. But I love Oliver Platt. Like, he is amazing. Like him and his chemistry with Brendan Gleeson is just perfect. Like I love the whole like, is this your friend? He was taller last time I saw him. Like that. Like there's so many good things. They just like him being like, oh well, he had a tough time with my name, so I don't think he's ready to comprehend this. I'm like, this is how I talk to people who I work with every day, so I connect with it.
See, I would watch like a series of movies about Oliver Platt and Brendan Gleeson, those characters going on it, like discovering other monsters, dealing with other shit. Yeah. Like I would love to see that.
Like that's a very important thing to point out, is that a lot of these movies, the reasons that they fail is because the human shit isn't as interesting as the animal shit. Yeah. And it'll never be. But this movie comes pretty damn close.
Oh,
There's some really, like, you're really engaged with these characters. I've always loved Bill Pullman.
Of course.
And he's always playing the straight man with it's kind of mysterious, and he's like kind of squinting and just being suave. Like, I like Bill Pullman in that sense. And I don't know. And the thing that is most surprising for me is how well this movie holds up as far as effects go.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a few like really like questionable CGI parts, but like you're gonna have that in these types of movies. But what you're not prepared for if you haven't seen this movie for some reason is how good that crocodile still looks.
Yeah, and how much practical crocodile stuff is in it. Like the practical Stan Winston, right?
Exactly. It's amazing. Like I think it holds up to be it holds up so well. And if anything, like it's funny. It's way funnier now as an adult because I understand it. But it's definitely not a scary movie. But it does still have moments of genuine dread. Yeah, like some moments that are genuinely scary. I was scarred from that opening scene when I was a kid when he pulled the scuba diver out and half his body is gone. Yeah, which is a trope you see in all of these movies. Like, but at this point, it wasn't. It hadn't been so overdone at that point. Like it's still kind of fresh, but. I don't know. I love it. I love this movie, and I know I'm going to have more to say about it, but we can pass it off to Boozy before we get on to the one spoiler in this movie.
just to come back to that opening scene there, my first note that I have written here is in all caps with an exclamation point, guts. So much guts come pouring out of that guy when they yank him out. Anyway, I
also pointed out to Courtney that I was like, he's kind of gay. He's eating that guy's dick.
That's where you went?
It was a joke.
We don't know that crocodile could have been a female. We don't know if it's a male or female. So
the reason, and that's the reason I'm saying this, because it was a complete joke. And if you don't know Courtney's sense of humor, like that's the kind of shit that would drive her crazy. So that's why I say it.
And that's Mitch's goal in life is to drive her insane.
To drive her nuts. I'm not a fucking.
I can't wait to see.
I'm the guy who says that Queer Eye is my favorite show on earth. So don't say that I'm homophobic.
All right, he's overcompensating at this point now. So.
I have a gay friend.
I can't wait to see that episode of Forensic Files where it's like they were sitting and watching Lake Placid when he made another snarky comment. Yeah. And then she hit him 8 times with a blunt object.
3 times today, Courtney is threatening to kill me, and it is 2:00. So this is a normal Monday.
Okay, let's we don't have to pass it off at this point. I'd just like to kind of overview of what the story is.
Sure. Yeah.
So
it's like a small town in somewhere
Maine. It's Maine. In Maine. So you can kind of jog your memories. Like think about any Stephen King thing ever, and just go like, oh, Maine, right? Yeah. Okay.
So, and then it's like there's been these mysterious attacks on one person, like from the sounds of it, like one guy got killed, and they went, send everybody in, some shit's going down.
Get an archaeologist in here now.
I love that about the movie, how the whole movie is going to Bridget Fonda. Why the fuck are you here? You're an archaeologist. Like you have no business being here. We found a tooth from a creature, and now you're here.
I like that they gave a backstory as to why she's there.
Yeah, it's great.
When it was like. Oh, you're sleeping with him? That was my boyfriend. Get the fuck out of here.
What's great about Bridget Fonda's character in this movie is that she, and I don't know if they wrote, like, I don't know what the deal was with this, but she leaves her job in New York City or whatever to come to Lake Placid to study this thing, but she's forced out of her job because she's fucking her boss, and then she comes to Lake Placid and immediately tries to fuck the dude who's in charge.
Yeah.
Like, Bill Pullman's running the thing, and she immediately is trying to fuck this guy.
Man, this is some, like, weak female character development.
Yeah.
Like,
she's trying to fuck her way to the top constantly.
And also, the other female character is the cop who's down to fuck Oliver Platt. Sorry.
Hey guys, if you ever wanted to know what Oliver Platt as a poonhound would look like, watch Lake Placid. Like, it's bizarre, his character.
His weird sexual energy where he shows me, he's like, I've got a helicopter and I believe in weird shit.
So there's like that one scene with Oliver Platt and he's dancing with the cop and he's just like, oh, we were hoping to mate. And it's just like, shut the fuck up.
That was that misogynist scene because she's like, yeah, we totally were. Yeah. I'll do whatever this guy wants. Also, this is a little bit of a pull between H2O and this film. Is Adam Arkin was also in H2O and played a small role in this.
Word, yeah, he plays the guy that she's trying to fuck at the guy she's fucking at the museum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's Jamie Lee Curtis's boyfriend in that.
Yeah, that dude's getting fucked in everything. Yeah, good for him.
He's always.
That's another one where I'm looking at him like, how's this guy fuckable?
Right?
I know. He's like when there's no more options. Like, this is where you go.
Yeah.
So it's basically you have your Justice League come together to try and figure out what the fuck's going on. You have the crocodile expert, and you have the sheriff, and you have all these different people, and then the archaeologist. No one knows why she's here, which is funny. Is that they keep coming back to that joke because the first time you hear the joke, you're like, meh, that's funny. Yeah, like
she's
why
there to put up a fuss about being in the wild.
Yeah. It's just I really like that when they kept going back to the fact is like, okay, I understand why the special specialist is here. Why is the archaeologist here? And she's like, I don't know why I'm here.
Exactly.
I like there's something about insisting on jokes in movies where it makes it funnier.
She's just there to complain the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact that every new character who gets introduced immediately questions her like credentials
why
and
are
why
you
she's
here?
there, and it's Bridget Fonda. If we're being totally honest about this movie, Bridget Fonda is there to fall out of things and put herself in peril.
That's exactly
her
what it is.
only role in this movie.
She could have been Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
In like name any Sandra Bullock movie. That's where she's at.
She falls out of 2 boats and the back of a truck, and
Yeah.
nobody else falls out of anything.
Exactly.
Oh, she also goes, stop doing certain things. She sometimes stands in the way of things.
Yep.
And she slaps the pig men.
Right. One thing about her character that I will say, I don't remember her from a ton of things.
No.
Like, it just feels like I haven't seen her since Lake Placid.
I remember her from Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah, like, I'll always remember her
classic,
as
yeah.
Lake Placid lady. But if you watch
And
throughout
Singles, of course.
if you watch throughout the movie, depending on where her hair is on her head, she can look anywhere from 10 to 15 years younger or older. I don't know if you noticed that when she had her hair down, it's like, is she 15? And then when she has it up, you're like, oh, she's a grizzled veteran.
Yeah, she's just pissed.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, there's not a ton of story.
They basically, this crew comes together to find out what's going on.
Yeah, so
then they find out it's a giant crocodile.
Yeah, they set up a little camp,
Spoilers. Yeah.
and then they find a giant crocodile, and then they have to go, why is this giant crocodile here? Which doesn't really ever get answered, and you don't need the answer.
It gets. They bring that up in it. Where is it saltwater? They can't live in freshwater or saltwater. Which is it? I'm not a crocodile.
There's
expert.
saltwater crocs.
Brendan Gleeson says, "Oh, they can't live in salt water."
There we go,
then
yeah.
Oliver Platt goes, "Well, we'll just make that your little secret."
Yeah,
And
that's where it's fucking.
I know, but,
hilarious,
but
'cause
like,
they
it's a buzzword. I've heard of saltwater crocs.
Yeah.
So I love
but
that they address it.
I think
and
they
then-
address it and they know that it's just like fuck
they
off.
they address it and they throw it out the window, and they do it in a way where you're not upset about it.
Yeah.
You don't go like, oh, that croc shouldn't be there. You're just like, okay. And
No.
they never advance that story farther, because I like that they have the Betty White angle to explain why the crocodile is what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But even when they ask her, she's like, I don't fucking know.
They
Like,
give you no reason to be taking this movie more seriously than you should.
Yeah.
That's the best
but
part about it. That's why it
makes
succeeds.
Yeah, but it makes it seem more like an event than a movie that needs to completely flesh out. Like when we talked about Shark Night a couple days ago, how like, why were the sharks there? Well, because we were gonna sell the video of people being eaten to blah blah blah. There was no angle in this movie. It was literally just like, I don't know. We're just trying to take care of it.
Yeah.
I think it's designed that way though to like make note of like the fear that people have, right? Like when you go out and when you're tubing or something like that on a lake and you fall out and you're in the middle of the lake all alone, the first thing you think is like, what's below me? What's going to grab me and pull me under?
Yeah.
And
What
with
was
no
that-
rhyme or reason.
Yeah,
to
what was
it,
that
right?
feeling near my
gonna be
toes?
straight
Yeah,
up, As a Saskatchewan boy who has spent the last 20 years on lakes in the summer, the first movie, I don't think about Jaws. I think of Lake Placid.
Hell yeah, man.
When I'm in lakes, and like I remember, like I have memories of being 10 years old and going like jet skiing or like wakeboarding or something, being like, we're in a lake. Well, there's a gator in Lake Placid.
Yeah.
Like that's so for me as a Saskatchewan boy, this was more effective in that sense than Jaws was. Like
For sure.
They're also very smart with how they use the idea of things that Jaws built up, because that's famous scenes from Jaws. You're always looking up. You know,
Oh,
you're
there's so
below.
many
You're
Jaws
looking
that-
up
yeah.
at legs, and it's got the duh, 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 duh. And they do that so many times in Lake Placid, where there's very few payoffs to that actually happening. But it always is scary. You're like, I remember tensing watching this 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and I've seen this movie 100 times. But
I
just the
know.
fact that you're watching this camera slowly going up at somebody,
And even the musical score kind of plays homage
does.
to Jaws.
The score is awesome, and also like I love one of the scenes that show, like it's just the classic that there's always a bigger fish or there's always something bigger is the scene where the bear comes ripping through, and you see the bear stand. That's a real bear.
That's why we love this movie, because we see a bear and we go, "Oh fuck, we're all scared of bear." I don't know about you, Shawn, but like it's common on the territory. We're terrified of bears.
Bears and bulls, keep them away from me.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you see this bear get fucked up instantly, you're kind of like, "Yeah, crocodile, get him!"
And I think that's the first time you see the crocodile in the movie, like
Yeah.
in
First full time,
full.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's that I remember being a kid and seeing that, and just like getting so excited about it. Like that was like probably my favorite scene in the movie when I was a kid. And
totally.
Because it was such a switch of expectations, right?
Yeah.
Well, and that's totally like a red herring moment is they have this huge altercation going on where like there's going to be a fight breaking because that's right after the one guy gets trapped, right? And he's like, I'm not going to kill him. I'm going to kill him.
That's a great running gag in the movie too. Brendan Gleeson and the traps. Yeah. That's so funny. I wish they would have done it one more time. Rule of 3, right?
Yeah.
Come on, David and Kelly. You got to get one more trap in there.
Exactly.
Well, I guess technically his end trap was
true.
but it wasn't towards
right. Yeah.
See, the thing is, we can go this entire episode with no spoiler warning because there's only one spoiler in the movie, and it's not really.
Yeah, let's just you know what, we've talked enough about the story, so we can just you have the main part. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They find out what it is, and then the end goal of it is to try and stop said crocodile.
The crocodile. Yeah.
So it's clear we all like Lake Placid. It held up for all of you guys. Like, it held up.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it.
You got to share your story now that you started telling. Before.
Oh shit. Okay,
so we told you to watch Lake Placid.
Yes. So last Thursday was my 3-year anniversary with my fiance.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And we both were kind of like, oh shit, it's our anniversary. We should do something for it. So we went out for supper that night. We had a nice evening. And then I was like, hey, by the way, babe, like, because we were going out of town this weekend. And I was like, by the way, I think I have to watch Lake Placid tonight. I have to prepare for this podcast I'm doing on Monday, and I don't have any other time to watch Lake Placid. I think I have to do it tonight after, like, is that okay if we spend our anniversary watching Lake Placid? Erica is the best. I love her with all my heart. She's the best fiance. She was like, fuck yeah, let's watch Lake Placid. That's great. Let's get high as fuck. We'll watch Lake Placid. I fell asleep. She woke me up. She's amazing. Ride or die. So
that is awesome. That's so good. That's so awesome that it wasn't a disappointment. So she like it too?
Sure.
Yeah.
Was it her first time?
I think so. I don't think she'd seen it before.
Whatever type thing.
Yeah, I didn't. I was more just being like, I have to watch this. You don't have to watch this with me, but I'll watch it with you. So.
That's the same as like, my girlfriend watched it with me because I have to watch this at some point. She's like, yeah, okay, I'll watch this with you. Watch the whole thing. She loved it too. My girlfriend loved this movie.
Courtney was like screaming because she's like, God, this movie's awesome.
Yeah,
because this is like her type of shit.
Yeah,
too.
and I know you brought it up before, but I find the special effects in this hold up so well.
Yeah,
there's maybe one scene where a lot of things are going on with the croc where it has some of that fuzziness that you'd see in earlier CGI.
The water's terrible.
Yeah, when so much is happening that you see that. But other than that, even the bear attack scene towards the very end, there's like 2 seconds of it where so much is happening that you see it get muddled.
Yeah.
But most of that bear attack scene looks more competent than things I've seen in the last 5 years.
For real. Yeah. Like everything feels like it has weight.
Yeah,
which is like so hard to do apparently with CGI is give things actual tangible weight.
Well, I'm always confused by that because you look at there are a couple scenes in Deep Blue Sea that look okay. A lot of Deep Blue Sea doesn't look great. Yeah. And you look at when this movie came out, and I'm thinking about movies that I've seen recently that have a ton of CG, and I'm like, where did they fuck up? Like, who did the CG for Lake Placid that did it so well that everyone was like, don't hire that guy. He does everything too well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I think because this was definitely a bigger movie at the time. Like it was surprising how big this movie was that it was getting a wide theatrical release. But that's, I think, what makes, you can have those like cheesy CG scenes, whatever, as long as you have like a couple scenes, like the scene where Jane Fonda's floating in the water, Bridget Fonda's floating in the water, and the croc is just coming closer to her. And
isn't that Oliver Platt?
Yeah, that's Oliver Platt.
Oliver Platt. Yeah, when Oliver Platt's
staring him. But that's not CG though.
No, that's an actual.
That's why if you have that, we'll forgive those CG moments.
Well, yeah, because there are times when you can clearly tell that it is an animatronic. I think especially when they have the head in the helicopter. Yeah, sure. When you're looking at it, you're like, okay, and it still looks fine.
Looks awesome.
But like sometimes the CG looks just as good, and that's the thing I'm always impressed by this movie. I don't know how they did it to make it look so, and that's not me just being like gushing
fanboy.
Yeah, I'm not fanboying just because I do love this movie. It's just I don't know how they made it look so good. Yeah, Anacondas doesn't do this as well. Like Deep Blue Sea, these all came out around the same time. That
being said, I still choose Anaconda over this.
Oh, I haven't seen Anaconda in a while. I can't comment on it. But Jennifer Lopez and Ice Cube, that's a pretty good
cast. And Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson is in Anaconda?
Owen Wilson's the guy who gets in the famous trailer where the snake is going underneath the water and you see a silhouette of a person in the belly? Yeah. That's Owen Wilson.
It's O-Dog.
Yeah. Oh my God. Man, all right, I'm going to have to watch Anaconda.
You should watch it. Go tell her that you're watching that tonight because Anaconda...
I'll wait till our 4-year anniversary.
Yeah, wait till next year's anniversary. Anaconda is
You can't believe what I'm going to do for next year's anniversary, babe. You're going to love it.
And you're going to have John Voight point making up facts about anacondas the entire time.
And talking in the most ridiculous accent imaginable.
Yeah, and he's always squinting because he's trying to, he's like, hey, look, I'm a snake.
I'm going to give a tracheotomy to a guy.
God, I love anaconda so much.
Yeah. There is one, we talked about the CGI, I just want to go back for 2 seconds here, but there is one shot that looks awful, and it's the shot where, full spoilers, a guy gets his head bit off by the crocodile, and it is like Soul Surfer level bad. Like, have you guys seen Soul Surfer?
Yeah.
It's like, there's a scene where a girl gets attacked by a shark, and it just looks like shit. Like, it's just like a cardboard shark goes, and it's really fast, and it bites her arm off. It's exactly the same in this movie. The guy's leaning over the boat, and it's just this blur that bites his head off. There's no form to it or shape. It's just color and shape.
I feel like it happens so fast. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it never sticks out to me. I'll have to watch it again. I feel like it happens so fast.
No, that's the thing is, it's just bad because, like, there's nothing there. You just see, you're like, oh, your mind is telling you immediately her head's gone because of this. But yeah, it is like, you don't see the alligator like at all, or crocodile.
I really the one thing we haven't talked about this movie is, as far as like Nature Run Amok goes movies, this movie's more character driven, and it's about the people. You don't realize is that the croc doesn't do that much in this entire movie, really.
That's why it eats like 2 people, I think.
That's why movies like this and Anaconda stick out, because, and I know that I'm making a joke, like, people think it's a joke about Anaconda, but Anaconda, you can spend time with those characters because they're so entertaining. Like, yes, they might be ridiculous, but they're playing it so straight. This, they're being funny, but you actually kind of care for them. Like, you kind of like them. For sure.
But it feels like it's more about the inner turmoil of these people working together than it is the actual... why do I keep saying crocodile or gator?
It doesn't matter. We always do that.
I think it's a crocodile,
I'm pretty sure it's a crocodile. Yeah. But, like, it kills a diver at the start. You find out later it killed Betty White's husband. Yeah. And it kills the one other sheriff guy by biting his head. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody else really... and a bear. It kills a bear.
Yeah.
So this thing has a...
And a cow,
and one cow. So it's a very low kill count in this movie, and you spend a lot of time with the character, because you already know what it is, but you spend so much of this movie with the characters where they're trying to figure out what it is. And I do like that scene where the deputy gets his head cut off, because there's a reason why it happens. Because I remember when I was younger, I was like, oh, he just ate him just because.
Yeah.
But it's because he was playing the sounds of the baby crocs in... danger or whatever, and as he's pulling it up, the thing goes and is like, I'm gonna fuck up whatever's doing that, which I like about it. I feel like I haven't seen this movie in a couple years, but after watching it again, it realizes that there's a lot of clever and funny things about this movie, and a lot of the dialogue and the jokes in this are very sexually inappropriate.
Super. They're just misogynistic, and they're just fucking gross. But okay, so sorry, this is gonna be a huge off-topic thing, but I'm gonna bring it up anyways.
Sure.
Does the movie Komodo ring a bell to you guys?
Yep.
I actually was going to watch that a couple of days ago.
Had that on VHS when I was a kid.
Okay, so I haven't thought about this movie for years, but now I'm remembering that this... So it was the same year that Lake Placid came out, but my dad knew how much I loved Lake Placid, that I was sick one time, and this would have been when I was like 10 or 11. He went up to the video store, he's just like, my son really likes Lake Placid, like, what can you offer like that? And the guy sent him home with Komodo. This movie scared the living fuck out of me. This was like a Jeepers Creepers level. Like, it makes no sense, but I think I would have been 11, so I want to watch it again, but for whatever reason, I'm like, this movie scared the fuck out of me. I feel like it would be terrible.
Yeah, I literally have it in my queue of things to watch, because I've been watching a lot of monster kind of movies.
Nice. It has Kevin Zegers from Air Bud. The kid from Air Bud.
There you go.
So it's 2 Air Bud pulls today.
Wow.
He's also in Frozen. And Billy Burke, who's the dad in Twilight movies. Yes, I've seen all the Twilight movies.
Hell yeah, man. Bring me back for the Valentine's Day. We'll do a whole Twilight special.
Let's do it. Man, we're running out of ideas for Valentine's Day, so we should do fucking Twilight.
Legit, like, this isn't even a joke. For the last 2 years, Valentine's week, we watch every Twilight movie. Like, one night at a time. We go through the whole series and watch them. On Valentine's Day, we watch Breaking Dawn Part 2. And that's how we end. That's how we spend our Valentine's Day. So.
But you know though.
I know what.
Or like, do you legitimately love those movies?
I genuinely love the Twilight franchise, and it's so strange. I'm derailing the show. I'm so sorry, guys.
Nope, do it.
I love it because it's awful.
Utter garbage.
It's so bad.
Okay,
but I genuinely love them though. Like the first time,
so bad it's good in your heart.
Even more than that, it's just like, I remember the first time I watched them, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was just like, these are real movies that people love.
Okay, so that's how I feel about Battleship.
I haven't seen Battleship.
Oh, Battleship is the cream of the crop for the garbage
Oh,
films.
okay,
Like,
okay, yeah.
It brought me and Courtney together.
Oh.
Like, it is a like the most entertaining piece of shit.
All right.
But it's also so good.
Right.
It's so good because it's so bad.
All right.
But, okay, so I think we're on the same page then with Twilight. I just see I was forced to those movies, so that was a problem.
Oh,
So-
see, the first time I even saw them was 2 years ago. So
Okay.
I'm like, I was 30
you're
years
good.
old watching Twilight for the first time and being like, oh, I found it. This is what I've been looking for all these years. And when the movies were done, I was genuinely sad that I couldn't live in that universe anymore. I was like, I can't believe I could spend more time.
I want to bring you back for
I love
Valentine's
you so
because
much.
I have seen the last Twilight. My ex-girlfriend at the time took me to the last Twilight movie. She made me go
You'd
to
be
it.
so lost.
But like that's the thing is I've only seen the last one, and then they do
That's the only one I haven't seen.
halfway through they do the revisionist thing and redo the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck are we watching?
See, that's the only one I haven't seen.
Oh, so you barely know about the Volturi. You barely
I know about the
like,
Volturi. Hell
yeah,
yeah.
of
But
course.
like, and see, like I have I got to watch the weird shit where you realize that you wasted half of this movie because
it's.
I don't want to give it away. Because
No, don't spoil it.
But that just goes to show how deep my Robert Pattinson love is, though, because I still say Team Jacob. Jacob's way hotter.
Fuck all that shit. I'm Team Charlie 100%.
Which one's Charlie?
Team Charlie is Billy Burke. That's her dad.
Oh, yeah, the dad.
Charlie
Oh,
is
yeah.
the only person in those movies that cares about Bella genuinely. Everyone else is using her for their own gain.
all just
Edward
want
is
a
a
finger.
fucking creep, and Jacob is a cuck, and I will fight anybody who tells me differently.
It's true.
Fuck Team Jacob, fuck Team Edward, Team Charlie till I die. I have a cross stitch of it on my wall because I'm Team
with
Charlie
it.
till I die.
I'm with it. Hell fucking yeah.
Whew, sorry guys, it's getting really hot in here.
You did good. All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I think do you guys have everything you have to say about Lake Placid?
How do you feel about the end of Lake Placid? Because they have the whole switcheroo where all of a sudden there's another gator and they get to use the rocket launcher finally.
Yeah, it's the
so they blow
best.
it up after everybody spent so long being like, "Don't kill him. He's stuck." And you're looking at this gator and it's going like,
And it's getting
yeah, and you kind of feel bad for it.
It's like Willie when you're watching Free Willy's eyes just kind of open a little bit, and he's just like, "I'm gonna get you out of here." And then Michael Jackson plays, and then he licks kids' buttholes, and then
So I like the ending of this movie. I think it was kind of funny how they have they put it on a flatbed with no water.
I love it. Yeah.
Not even a tarp.
Not even a tarp.
Just
And
on
they're just imagine driving down that highway, just being like, "There's a 40-foot fucking gator."
Imagine being a 40-foot crocodile living in a lake your whole life, and suddenly you're flying down the road on the back of a truck.
And they couldn't find anywhere to take it, so it's going to some other place in Maine, like Portland Zoo or some shit. What the fuck are they going to do with this thing? But I love the ending of Bob Marley playing while Betty White feeds all. So does that mean
baby gators?
So does that mean that the gator that they captured is the female and the one that they blew up was the male? How did gators aren't asexual? They can't just produce.
But I think those babies were already born.
Yeah.
And they just came to them like something like that.
Yeah, but like how did they get born? Where did they come from?
They go in their necks. Is that where babies go?
No, but I'm saying
Yeah,
is
I
like
think so.
two gators at some point had to fuck to create these little bits. So I'm wondering if those two gators from the climax scene.
you're asking the real questions.
Hey, David E. Kelly, if you're listening, write in and tell us where those other gators came
he's
from.
listening.
Yeah, of
The other
course.
He's
gator
really
was cast on
shy.
Ally McBeal.
This is okay. Here is my theory about this movie. They captured the female because that alligator or crocodile was bigger than the one they blew up. The one they blew up was smaller.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And usually
And
the
usually
female is
females
the
are always
larger of the
bigger.
species.
And that one was a total bitch, and every other female in this movie was a total bitch. The movie's so misogynistic.
Also because she didn't eat the gator specialist right at the bat, she's showing patience. It's definitely a female. There's patience.
That might have been
right
the
there.
male. Who knows?
That's true.
He saw a bro and was like, Oliver Platt, you're getting your dick wet. I'm not going to stop you. You're a cool dude.
Oh yeah, like I'll fuck you if you get back in this helicopter.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting too much tail. I don't care about your. It's like
hell yeah, brother.
Could you imagine just turning that down because you want to go swim in a lake? Like, if you come back, I'll have sex with you. I kind of want to go for a dip.
Yeah. Hey, lady, I flew my helicopter all the way over here. You think I'm not going to go in this lake?
Yeah.
I can get my dick wet anytime. I'm Oliver Platt. I'm drowning in puss. I'm not going to drown in this lake. I'm fine.
Okay, so obviously, I'm sure. I don't even know. Have you guys seen the second one?
Yeah.
I have, but
haven't
I
seen
have
any
zero
of them.
recollection of it.
Me too.
If you were to write a second one, this is just a quick question. How would you have the second one? I would have it so that when it got to the zoo or whatever in Portland, it just fucks shit up there.
Sure, of course.
That would be
a
the
Jaws
movie.
3 type thing.
Yeah, that would be the movie right there.
I'm going to hop on with you because I have no idea.
I feel like that would be a cool idea because they just leave it so open-ended. What happened to this thing? I like
it. Could be like Baby's Day Out, but with the crocodile. He escapes and he goes to visit the zoo and he makes friends with a gorilla.
That sounds good. Congo classic crossover. See, what I would do is I'd make it so that the crocodile gets loose on the back of that flatbed, and then this truck is terrorizing the country, driving around with this rogue crocodile on it, eating campers and eating motorists and motorcyclists.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Can I go through a list of a couple of my favorite moments from this movie?
Yeah,
of course you can.
So I got first things first. Mariska Hargitay has a fun little cameo at the very start there. That was a real delight to see her.
Is she the girl who was sleeping with her boss?
She is, I think so. She's like friends with Bridget Fonda.
Yeah, she's the one who's banging the boss.
She cucked Bridget Fonda.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I also love the line where Brendan Gleeson holds up his giant magnum and goes, "How big is this?"
Yeah, after they're talking about his dick.
Yeah. That's great. I really love Bridget Fonda flirting with Bill Pullman on the eve of the day that his deputy got his head bit off. Yeah. Nobody seems to give a shit that guy was brutally killed, and they're just like, "Hey, let's fuck."
They never even said his name. I don't.
No, he does not have a name.
Shit, he's
gone.
He
was being a dick to Brendan Gleeson leading up to his death.
Yeah, exactly.
From the very beginning.
Two last things here. There's a scene where Betty White is throwing seeds around on her property, and she just throws a handful of seeds at Brendan Gleeson, and they hit him in the shirt, and he just goes like, "What the fuck?"
I remember, she's just disrespecting the cops the whole time.
Yeah. Betty White is a treat in this movie.
Totally,
She's got like an ACAB tattoo somewhere on her.
She's a gangster.
And then they write all these strong female cops in the movie, and all they want to do is fuck all the men around them.
Exactly, so, It's like that's like the by far most troublesome part of the movie. But I think if it wasn't such a silly movie, it would be a problem. But like, and I'm not saying it's not a problem, but like, I think these characters, Bridget Fonda had to have known what she was signing on for
sure.
And like, but so there's one strong female character in the entire movie, and it's Betty White, and the mother croc.
Yes,
you know
the strongest.
You know that there was somebody growing up who watched that, who saw like all these all these women throwing it at like all these like croc experts. He's like, "I'm gonna grow up to be a croc expert, and I'm gonna get all detail.
I'm gonna be a marine biologist."
Yeah, it's those dudes just waiting for ladies to flock to him while wearing like a yoga uniform. And
I'm going to wear 6 layers of clothing and as many beads and necklaces and jewelry as I can wear. And
oh my God.
All right, so I guess we're getting towards the end of the episode here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shawn, for coming. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming here. This was a fun year. What we say this only on the best episodes, but you're one of us.
Oh, thank you.
You definitely fit in like a glove here.
Thanks for having me. This is a pleasure.
At the very beginning of the episode, you said that you hosted a podcast called the Official Goatse Podcast, which I laughed off because I thought you were joking.
We both thought you were just a very clever jokester.
So, we know that you do the Story of You podcast, which you've talked about. Let's hear about the Goatse podcast for a second.
So, the Official Goatse Podcast is not on the Saskatchewan Podcast Network, and will probably never be affiliated with it if the owners of the network know what's good for them. But basically, it's just me and my co-host Garrett and Dave, and we just sit around and bullshit and make each other laugh and just have fun. We have a Patreon, so come support us, give us some money. Patreon, Official Goatse Podcast, whatever, you'll find it. And basically on there we have episodes, we post episodes. We have a couple of spin-off shows that we do. One's called Frankie D's Cocksuckers, where we do a deep dive into Frank D'Angelo's movie and film career. If you've never heard of Frank D'Angelo, he is Canada's hardest working entertainer, the Tom Jones of the North, the Maine Muskrat. Frank D'Angelo, we fucking love him. He is going to ruin my life one day because I love him so much. And we just recently launched a new podcast on our Patreon called Dane Cock's Cooksuckers, where we introduce our co-host Dave into all things Dane Cook. He didn't know Dane Cook. We're going through all of Dane Cook's work and we're showing Dave all of it. And we just did the first episode. We're getting to it. Yep. We've done Harmful If Swallowed and his Comedy Central presents, and from here it will be a steep decline downhill into Garbageville.
Yes,
so I'm really excited.
So what does he think as someone who, like, I don't know many people who've never experienced Dane Cook.
Yeah, Dave is a great guy.
Is he Mormon or something? Like, where did he grow up that he never heard of Dane? Like,
no, he's heard of Dane Cook. He just didn't get into him when everybody else was.
Okay, so like he didn't get any of the jokes where you just yell loudly. And
No, and Garrett and I reference him all the time on the show just because we think it's funny to, whatever, say my dick feels like corn or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and Dave just never got any of it. So finally we were like, well, it's time to introduce you to who the fuck we've been referencing all this time. And it is probably our best show. Like, it's so fucking fun. Dane Cook is, he's a product of his time.
Yeah.
So not a lot of it holds up very well.
I fucking hate Dane Cook.
I
like it.
You should listen to Harmful If Swallowed. Listen to the last bit on Harmful If Swallowed. The very last line of his album is, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but the very last line of the very last joke is, "You're a faggot." That's the punchline to the last joke on his album.
Yeah.
And you go like, oh boy, 2002 was like a very different time.
Yeah,
like,
no
that's
doubt. What a
very
fucking-
different.
Do you guys remember, like, this was towards the end of MTV where Ike Barinholtz would always do Dane Cook impressions? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
He would flip his hair up and he'd be like, oh, like fucking UFOs come. You should check it out. It was like towards the end of Mad TV. They didn't have a lot of great stuff, but Ike Barinholtz pretending to be Dane Cook was gold.
That's great.
You can have that in your podcast.
We'll put it in there. Yeah, we're gonna do an episode where we do all of Dane Cook's cameos from stuff. So, 'cause he's been in a bunch of stuff. I'm not gonna watch Mr. 3000 to see a 5-second Dane Cook cameo.
Shit, I've seen that movie a lot. Like when I was a kid, I saw the Bernie Mac movie.
Bernie Mac, you bet. Dane Cook plays like I think a hot dog mascot or something in it. So
the Good Luck Chuck.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that one.
I've seen Employee of the Month. I haven't seen My Best Friend's Girl or Good Luck Chuck, but My Best Friend's Girl looks like a goddamn roller coaster ride. I'm so excited to get there.
I remember laughing my ass off at My Best Friend's Girl for like wrong reasons.
Of course, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, coming back, it's 2019. We're coming back to all this stuff. That line that I said earlier, I really had to question whether I wanted to say those words out loud.
People who are listening know that you're not condoning.
Of course not. Of course.
Yeah.
But it's like,
it's ridiculous that was at one point a punchline.
Yeah. And the punchline to his closer. That's how he ends the show.
I know, yeah.
And
That's
people
the best
love
he's
it.
got.
And the best part about it is, it's actually a pretty good joke. Like, that punchline, while problematic now, is pretty goddamn funny in context. Like, it works pretty well, so...
Fuck yeah.
All right, so usually, I don't know how many episodes of us you've listened to, or if you've heard any where we have guests. Always at the end of our episodes where we have guests, I always ask, what would you like me to play music? We can play, like, 10 to 15 seconds royalty free of anything. So if you have like a song you want to be played out to, it's kind of like if you're a WWE wrestler and you just want a match, your music's about to fucking hit, like what would you like?
Oh man, well it's got to be something Frank D'Angelo. I mean, he's my boy. He's my what's a good Frank D'Angelo song? There's so many of them that are so good. I'm gonna have to go with. I got to go with Dreamer, of course. Dreamer by Frank D'Angelo. That's
Perfect.
it for
Sounds
sure.
Good. Yeah, sounds good. So we look forward to having you on again at some point, hopefully.
Talk about Twilight, of course. I'll be back.
Yeah, actually. And everyone, go check out the Story Review and the official Goatse podcast, and check out the Terror Table and Story Review on Saskatchewan Podcast Network, supported by Connexus. And we'll talk to you guys next week, in which we'll be talking about we'll be doing a double feature of arachnophobia and ticks. See you guys then. Stay spoopy. Hey everyone, and welcome to the question of the week from the Terror Table. So please listen close, take this question into consideration, and write us at Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. You can send it to direct message anyway, or at theterrortable@gmail.com. My question for you is, if there was a horror convention in your city or your town or where you are at, who would be the top 3 horror guests that you'd like to see or like to meet? So
are
once
we
again,
doing? They have to be like alive right now. You can't do like an alive or dead.
let's do alive.
Okay.
Top 3 alive horror guests. So get thinking. Let us know, and bonus points for anyone who gives us a reason why you'd like to see this person. So once again, top 3 horror guests at a horror convention. Go.